road swing. They won 6 out of 8 before coming back to their new home in Chicago's United Center. Now, we all know about Ed Belfour and the Chicago defense, but make no mistake about it, these are the new high-flying Hawks, the third best offense in hockey, led by the likes of Bernie Nichols and Joe Murphy and Chris Chelios and Jeremy Roenick, and they face off next on the Deuce. Welcome to the Windy City of Chicago, the spanking new United Center, where the Blackhawks have yet to lose this year as they host one of their ancient rivals, the Detroit Red Wings, in a battle of the 2 best teams so far in the NHL's Western Conference. A pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Mees. The Blackhawks are flying along just 2 points behind Detroit, but yesterday they go and make a trade. Gone is Eisenberg. Gone is Rich Sutter to Tampa Bay. Back is tough guy Jim Cummins. Joining me on the telecast tonight, so we take a look at some of the headlines from the Chicago newspapers. Darren Pang. Darren, why would the Hawks make a trade at this time for Cummins?
Well, first of all, clearly Eisenbart and Richie Sutter were playing terrific hockey for the Blackhawks. Make no mistake about that. But I think down the stretch, the Blackhawks felt they needed some more muscle to shore it up come playoff time, where the tougher style becomes a little more prevalent down the stretch.
All right, and offensively, though, nobody can complain about the Blackhawks. Let's begin with JR, Jeremy Roenick.
Yeah, he has been absolutely terrific. And, you know, Jeremy Roenick is usually a shooter of the puck, not a disher of the puck, but he has been trying so hard to set up his new line mate, Tony Amonte. He has been absolutely terrific so far in leading the Blackhawks both on and off the ice. But I think the main acquisition from the Blackhawks' point of view is the offseason acquisition of Bernie Nichols. Yeah, Bernie's a great goal scorer. He once had 70 goals. But I think more importantly than that is Bernie's demeanor off the ice. He's a great attribute in the locker room, keeps everything loose. In fact, even Daryl Sutter says he makes me laugh.
And also, let's not forget the contributions on the power play this year.
It has been terrific. Usually much maligned. Now it has been terrific. Gary Suter is the key to this one because it takes more pressure off Chris Chelios. Chelly doesn't have to do everything for the Blackhawk Blue Liners, and they've been terrific so far in the early goings for the Blackhawks.
You know this is a big game because they turned off the lights here. They're making a big deal out of this. The Detroit Red Wings are in town, and when you say that in Chicago, it gets people excited. One reason they're excited is they'll see this man, Sergei Fedorov. We'll take a closer look at the Detroit Red Wings in a moment.
Som modell förväntas man vara perfekt. Det gäller också håret. För ett tag sedan trodde jag mitt hår såg friskt ut, men en närbild visade något helt annat. Jag bestämde mig för att pröva något nytt.
Nya Pantene Pro V, nu berikat med mer provitaminer. Det första schampot som tränger in i rötterna och ända ut i topparna. Vid regelbunden användning ser håret friskare ut.
Nu vet jag att mitt hår ser friskt ut och glänser mer. Så även om du tycker att ditt hår ser friskt ut, titta noga en gång till.
Nya berikade Pantene Pro V för glänsande friskt hår.
It was you? What is? How about this? Come over here. Why don't you try a wet t-shirt contest?
Talk is cheap. I want your body.
Woo-woo!
What's wrong? Don't they feed you in there?
Excuse me, would you like to dance?
Taxi idag 1:30.
For the better part of a decade, the Motown scoring charts were topped by a guy named Stevie Y, Steve Yzerman, and he's still got all the moves. But there's a new hit in town. 25-year-old Sergei Fedorov has cemented his superstar status in Detroit. Last year was his personal coming-out party. 56 goals, 120 points, capturing league MVP and best defensive forward honors, all the while playing with youthful exuberance. But a postseason suspension cost Sergei Fedorov the first 3 games this year. But he's returned with a vengeance. He's second on the wings with 10 goals and counting and 16 points. And he's gunning for more tonight on the Deuce. That is a brief look at the team that the Chicago Blackhawks have to deal with tonight at United Center. Tom Mees and Darren Pang back with you. And Darren, as long as I've been watching that team with a winged wheel the last 4 or 5 years, all you see is star after star after star.
Great team to watch and great team, I'm sure, to coach as well. You just keep going them line after line after line, and you've got all-star after all-star. And I think when you talk about the Detroit Red Wings now, you talk about that guy, number 91, Sergei Fedorov, last year's most valuable player. But, Tommy, I think even more importantly than that, the NHL players voted him as the Lester B. Pearson Award winner, meaning the players voted him as the best player in the National Hockey League, and that's quite an honor for a guy like Fedorov. Now, he was suspended for the first 3 games, but he has been on fire ever since. So Fedorov obviously is their leader. Steve Yzerman, in the meantime, yes, he's been plagued a little bit in the last 11 games without a goal, but according to his teammates, there's been nobody on that team that has worked harder the last couple of weeks. He's their captain, he's their leader, and the guy they look forward to scoring goals, and that's what he'll do. He'll snap out of it as long as he's getting shot after shot in each and every game. Meanwhile, on defense, You got to go to the future Hall of Famer Paul Coffey. He leads the world in history and goals, assists, and points, and he is having a terrific year so far. Even though he's got only one goal, he's setting up time and time again, and he's working the power play. Paul Coffey's got terrific wheels, and he's really utilizing those wheels and setting up the things, especially on the power play.
The Red Wings, of course, are trying to live up to the billing they've had for the last several years. They're going to start Mike Vernon in goal tonight. Their defensive stats are much improved this year. If they get the goaltending and the defense, look out, right?
You betcha. They tie up that system that they're using right now with Barry Smith and Scotty Bowman, and they're having great success.
We got the two best teams in the Western Conference just moments away from facing off here in Chicago. The Hawks and the Wings on the News.
Hej! Ikväll på Ögonvittnen får vi se följande inslag. Vi får följa ett ungt par som länge försökt få barn och deras olika vedermödor på den känslosamma vägen mot föräldraskap. En bevakningskamera fångar en mycket talför tjuv. De hemska bilderna om de överlevande och hjältarna i en flygkatastrof. En kvinna filmar vad som till en början såg ut som en inte alltför hemsk idrottsskada. Missa inte Ögonvittnen ikväll, 21:00 här i 5:an.
Fire on Ice, ESPN2's coverage of the National Hockey League is brought to you by Molson Ice from Canada, the land where ice was born. By Dristan Nasal Spray, Dristan, the face of relief today. And by the Discover Card, the card with the big payback. And Terry Gregson, our referee tonight, drops the puck. Randy Mitten and Mark Weller are the linesmen. I'm Tom Nees with Darren Pang, and fasten your seatbelts. The Hawks and the Red Wings are meeting in Chicago. The white-clad Hawks, Patrick Poulin, who's really come alive of late, behind the net to Tony Amonte. He's out there with Jeremy Roenick, Suter and Chelios at the points for now. And here comes Doug Brown of Detroit, up to Vladimir Konstantinov. Konstantinov taken hard into the boards by Poulin. Ed Belfour. Fedorov has already lost his helmet. That's like a rite of spring, Darren. He must long for the days when you didn't have to wear one.
Yeah, his toque always falls off. It always seems to fall off right at the beginning. Good time for it, though, right when the cameras are rolling.
Oh, yeah, national television. Got to get that hair flowing in the breeze. The shot.
Interesting in that first shift, Tom, he sort of cut you off, but Yzerman and Fedorov started this game with Brown, and Yzerman playing the left wing, his off wing, him being a right-hand shot.
Offside on the Wings. It gives us a chance to take a look at Mike Vernon in goal for Detroit.
Well, the only time these two teams met this year was to open up the season at Joe Louis Arena. Vernon played that game, a 4-1 win. Eddie Belfour, meanwhile, was in goal for that game as well, a 4-1 loss. Eddie Belfour leads the NHL right now with shutouts. He had 2 successive shutouts as well. He's off to a pretty darn good start.
And the face-off will come outside the Chicago zone as Greg Johnson skated it offside for Detroit. And the puck comes back to the Red Wings' Paul Coffey. Cross-ice to Nicholas Lidstrom, who loses control. And Brent Sutter, the lone remaining on-ice Sutter, with Rich traded to Tampa Bay yesterday. That had to be a tough thing for Coach Darryl Sutter to do. Inform his brother that your services are no longer needed here in Chicago. Steve Dubinsky just called up from the Indianapolis Ice to the IHL, sent it deep into the Detroit zone, but the Red Wings. Greg Johnson dumps behind the net for Belfour. Hawks try and keep it in, can't do so. Now here's Bernie Nichols. Nichols skates in with Murphy, the shot, save, rebound. The net is open, Murphy scores! Maybe that'll pick Joe Murphy up a bit. He's been struggling, Darren.
What a shift for Joe Murphy, utilizing his speed, but also his partner, Bernie Nichols, to the backhand, right on the tape to the left-handed Murphy. One-timer, good save by Vernon, but Murphy sticks with it, perseveres, smells his first tally in 5 games on the backhand, and he was nearly stopped by both Yzerman and one of the defensemen for Detroit, but it had enough steam and mustard to get across that goal line.
9th goal of the season for Joe Murphy, who from game to game recently has been benched for a time or two during games by Coach Darryl Sutter. He's been trying to recover from a groin injury. That'll help the recovery.
8 goals in his first 7 games. He was on fire. He was amongst the scoring leaders in the entire NHL, and you're right about that, Tom. He pulled a groin, missed 3 games, and had a very difficult time coming back. You know, you can lose your wind pretty quickly, but Joe Murphy had said, I'm just going to keep on working. And one of the things the coaching staff had said on Chicago was keep on an even keel, Joe. Just keep working hard. Scotty Bowman, Dave Lewis on the left side, former National Hockey League player with amongst many teams, the Detroit Red Wings. Scotty's utilizing a different system so far this year, trying to have that left winger latch on a little bit. And the left winger's usually the guy playing high. Yzerman's now playing, meanwhile, between Sillinger and Kozlov. So he's really doing a whole heck of a lot of juggling to begin this game.
Yzerman bumps the face-off into the corner. It's picked up there by the Hawks' Chelios. 1-0 Chicago early on. The lone assist on that Murphy goal, his 9th of the year, goes to Bernie Nichols. What a pickup he has been as a free agent this past summer. Offside, meanwhile, is Tony Amati on the left wing. Fans don't like it, but Jeremy Roenick and the Hawks will have to face it off. There's Roenick, who, of course, is embroiled in a contract discussion of his own.
Well, he still has a year and an option left on his contract. So I think they're trying to patch up some things that might have been said during the lockout. Jeremy Roenick is obviously a very popular player, but the key to JR is the fact that he's got a good buddy here, Tony Amati. They played some high school hockey together, and they are just inseparable. And I think the key to this whole thing is JR is always looking for Amani on his right side, and that's why you see the assists up for Jeremy Roenick. He's always looking for his wingers, making them better goal scorers.
Well, on for his first shift is a Chicago Blackhawk, number 15 in the white uniform, Jim Cummins, obtained yesterday from the Tampa Bay Lightning for Paul Yzerman and Rich Sutter. So we'll see what he brings to the table. He's playing on a line with Jeff Shans and Brent DeGreve. Puck at center. Back to the stick of Cam Russell for Chicago. Chance pokes it along to center. Cummins bumps with a bigger Keith Primo. Here's Grieve. He'll wind up. Sean Burr got a piece of that. Back to the point. Behind the Detroit net. Grieve tries to get it out to Cummins. Red Wings intercept. Sean Burr, number 11, winds back to his own zone and now builds up a head of steam into the Chicago zone. Dino Ciccarelli. Burr tries to poke it in with a deflection. Nice play. Belfour was there. Hawks clear it to center. Cummins will shoot it in. Caught with a glove hand by Vernon DePaul Coffey. Intercepted at center by Murphy. Red Wings backhanded out. Red Wings come in with a 2-point lead in the Western Conference over the Chicago Blackhawks. 23 points for Detroit, 21 for Chicago. Nichols dumps into the corner. Might burn it out to stick it to the corner. Brown, Doug Brown, acquired from the Penguins before the season began. Bernie Nichols behind the Detroit net. Nichols looked to center, got it back to Chelios. His drive hits the leg of Sergei Fedorov. Fedorov into the Chicago zone, tries a wrist shot, but he's tied up. Back the other way come the Blackhawks. Murphy. His drive hits the leg of Bob Rouse, who goes down in pain. Mark Howe with it for Detroit. Mark Howe is still playing this game.
Well, you know, the key to Mark Howe the last couple of years, though, is he's been playing 45 to 50 games, sort of been having those half seasons for the last half dozen or so.
Here's Martin Lapointe. He's all alone, goes behind the Chicago net. Lapointe taken by Fedorov. Fedorov gives it away, and this will be Sergei Krivokrasov. Krivokrasov. Gary Suter tripped up with the blue line. Fans wanted a penalty, won't get one. And here's a giveaway. Greg Johnson steals for Detroit. Nifty pass to Martin Lapointe. He's tied up. Eric Weinrich away at center to Brent Sutter. Trailing pass to Krivokrasov, who fanned on it. Non-stop here for the last 4 minutes or so. Under 15 minutes to play, first period. Tony Amati can't intercept the clearing pass. Konstantinov to Sillinger, and some hard hitting going on at center. Tony Amati got the worst of it, broke his stick and got a bruise or two. And Ed Belfour stands up tall in the Chicago net. 1-0 Chicago early on.
Blå, blå vindar och vatten. Blå, blå himlar och hav.
med stillheten som gör.
I Top Cops på onsdag.
So, Mr. Small, let's go. Get in! You have oxygen for 48 hours. You tell her what's happening and you make her believe it. Bill, this could be it.
We want Stephen Small back, alive.
Top Cops, onsdag klockan 10.
Well, we told you Tony Amani and Jeremy Roenick are inseparable. Well, there's Amani. Oh, man, there's his buddy JR. Just hammered him in the open ice area, and Amani felt that. It took him a little while to get back to the bench. Whoa, but it looks like he's okay. Pretty good hit to start the game. Wrong guy.
Yeah, you used the right word, inseparable. Roenick almost separated Amani from his senses there, but he thinks he'll be all right. Face off to the right of Ed Belfour in the Chicago zone. And the linesman ushering in. Who is that to take the face off? Is that Brett Grieve against Sean Burr. Burr wins it clean, but now it's stolen by Jim Cummins, the new addition. Cummins backhands to the corner. Cummins behind the net. Mike Ramsey is on him. Brett Grieve tries to control it. Sean Burr, who's great in those corners, gets in there with Jeff Shands. Ramsey. Primo takes a hit from behind by the Blackhawks' Cam Russell. And Primo looked around to see who that was.
I think Cam Russell's stick came up and just clipped Primo. It was very inadvertent, but it did catch him.
Puck loose behind the Blackhawk net. Chicago covers up, and here's Cummins at center. Or the Grieve at center. He'll dump in behind the Detroit net. And that is called for icing on the Chicago Blackhawks.
Veteran Dino Ciccarelli upset earlier in the year when he was a healthy scratch for a couple of games. But I think Dino fully realizes right now that he's in a good situation with the Red Wings. He has a chance to compete for the Stanley Cup. And in fact, he just signed a new contract with the Red Wings. And part of that third year is if he gets to the conference finals, then they tack on an extra year. So that's incentive enough for Dino Ciccarelli to add another career to a very outstanding contract that he just signed.
Ciccarelli started the year wearing those breathe right things over the bridge of his nose. I asked him, how come you don't do it anymore? He said, simple. I bought the stock at $2 a share, sold it for $6, and it's up to $17. I'm boycotting it. I sold it the wrong time.
Didn't say we're all that sharp, are we?
So have you seen that stock lately, Tom? It's going through the roof. All right, play on in the Detroit zone. Fedorov back at center. Chelios dumps into the corner for Chicago. Vernon back to play it. All Coffey's pass too far out in front for Fedorov. And this should be icing on the Detroit Red Wings with 13-18 to go in the first. 1-0 Chicago.
Fedorov just moments ago looked like he took a little bit of hit in one of his legs, and he sort of went off to the bench off a quick shift. And now Scotty Bowman again changing his lines up very quick. Yzerman remains on Fedorov's line on the left side with Brown on the right side. 1 out of 10. Imagine being a goaltender or defenseman looking up. You got those two guys coming at you. My goodness. If there would be one problem with those two guys, they both would want the puck. You know, that's the one thing about them. They're both explosive. They're both offensive minded. And they both want the puck. And I don't think that can be a bad thing, though. That's for sure.
Well, there's Ed Belfour. You know, some of the silly trade rumors you hear this time of year. Last week we were hearing Belfour to Boston for a whole variety of people. I don't think Eddie Belfour is going anywhere this year. Could be wrong, but I don't think so. Face off deep in the Detroit zone. Riva Krasov behind the net. Centers out in front to Steve Smith. Steve Smith measures his target, shoots, and hits the stick of Keith Primo. Primo and Brent Sutter collide. And the Red Wings don't clear it. Weinrich keeps it in. Riva Krasov, a lot of room in the corner. Now has Rouse on his tail. Back to Smith. Smith shoots wide. Riva Krasov goes to the corner. Dino Ciccarelli picks it up for Detroit. The Hawks have had much the better of the scoring chances tonight. So far, here's a takeaway by Weinrich. Cross ice to Kriva Krasov, who snaps one off, hits the leg of the defenseman, Ramsey. And Ciccarelli clears. Chris Chelios with a head of steam at center. Pulls up, draws the defense to him. Tim Taylor, though, back to get it for Detroit. The bodies are starting to collide with regularity along the boards.
Good read by Suter, just coming off the bench on a line change and eliminating the man. Although Suter's an offensive-minded player, he doesn't mind getting involved as a physical player.
Tim Taylor for Detroit tries to wrap it around to Martel Lapointe, not out. Suter sends it in the corner for Nichols. Here's Gary Suter. Lofting one in, and seeing it all the way was Vernon for the routine save. About midway through the first, 1-0 Chicago.
Nu skulle man ha en varm, krämig cappuccino.
Nu kan du göra Gevalias milda krämiga cappuccino var du vill, direkt i koppen.
Ikväll är det premiär på Drömfabriken här i Femman klockan 20.00. Välkomna då!
Molson Ice brings us the league leaders among defensemen in scoring. Chris Chelios, 3 of the top 5 on display here tonight. Chelios by 1 over Paul Coffey, who holds 10 NHL records. Gary Suter also up there, but there is the workhorse here in Chicago, Chris Chelios. And there is Paul Coffey, one of the workhorses in Detroit. Coffey, the all-time leader in goals and assists, and therefore points for defensemen in NHL history. And Coffey shoots it in on Ed Belfour. Chelios back to pick it up. Chelios inadvertently hits the stick of Brown. Coughs it up deep in his own zone. Belfour will leave it for Suter. Fedorov takes it away in the corner. He's roughed up by Suter. Yzerman will keep it in. Back to Coffey. Shot from the point. Hits traffic. Here comes Patrick Poulin the other way. Gets it on the stick of Tony Amonte. He's onside. Shoots. Save. Rebound goes wide. Jeremy Roenick gets it out to Chelios. His wrist shot and a nice diving save there by Yzerman. Good defensive play.
Good rush by the Blackhawks as well. You see the difference that we were talking about. The trades that the Blackhawks have made in the past couple of years, Tony Amonte included. Quick feet, quiet feet, but watch Patrick Poulin in the neutral zone. He finds Amonte. Amonte, a left-hand shot on the right wing, a quick little shot, beating Coffey over wide. Coffey, though, so quick on his feet, he got back there in time to smother up that rebound. Good save by Mike Vernon challenging, but again, a good heads-up play by Patrick Poulin. That's former Chicago Blackhawk, New Jersey Devil Rich Preston, one of the assistant coaches for the Blackhawks, as they take a lead in shots on goal early on in this game.
And Poulin has begun to blossom offensively, Darren. 8 goals and 5 assists coming into this game tonight. Obtained a little bit more than a year ago in a trade from the Hartford Whalers. So Patrick Poulin, maybe this is his coming out year. That remains to be seen, but early on they like what they see from him. Russell touches up, icing the call on the Detroit Red Wings. Take a gander at the Central Division standings, where Detroit and Chicago are 1-2 with the St. Louis Blues just behind. The same number of points as Chicago, but 1 more loss. And I think that's about the way most people thought this division would shape up, Darren.
Well, Chicago up there, there was a lot of people that said the Chicago Blackhawks would be right up there in the mix of things. They thought they'd be right around where Toronto. I think people thought that maybe Toronto and Chicago would be swapped, but the Blackhawks made some bold moves in the offseason. Detroit, they just have such a great nucleus by adding Mike Vernon. That just gives them some confidence back there, and at the same time adding Rouse and adding Ramsey on defense, that really improved them back there as well.
Well, the Wings have cut their goals against significantly downward this year. That's been the biggest improvement in their team.
Well, after 16 games this year, 33 goals against. After 16 games last year, 63. That's how big a difference it's been.
Wow, that's 100%. Just about, right? Or cut it in half. 50%. I'll get it right. I was never good at math. 50% less goals than last year at the same time. And you can do that and retain your scoring touch like the Red Wings have. You're going to be in business. Blackhawks clear the zone. Ramsey back at center. Up to Jason York. York shoots it in on Belfour. Detroit goes for a line change. Steve Smith on the tape with Joe Murphy. Murphy tries to get around Ramsey. Just under 10 minutes to go in the first. 1-0 Chicago and a goal by Murphy. Nichols centering pass doesn't hit the mark. Konstantinov. Cross ice for LaPointe. Centers in front, but nobody home. Christian Ruutu with a pass through traffic on the stick of Nichols. Nichols leaves it. Ruutu late getting there. Nichols centers, intercepted. Here comes Konstantinov. One of the least liked players by Detroit opponents. Konstantinov behind the net. Johnson. Murphy steals it off his stick. Ends up on the stick of Paul Coffey. Coffey's pass too far for Burr. And icing will be the call on the Detroit Red Wings. 8:57 to go in the first period. Fire on ice on the deuce, and the Hawks lead it 1-0.
Det finns ett diskmedel med diskkraft som ända upp till 3 billiga flaskor. Yes Ultra Plus. Ett fynd varje gång.
Hej mamma, ska du diska? Det är redan diskat. Jag som hade tänkt äta middag här. Har inte du flyttat hemifrån? Varför använder du inte Yes? Ja, jag får väl handdiska då. Yes, maskindisk mamma.
Med Yes behöver du bara hälften. Dess 3-stegseffekt bearbetar smutsen, löser upp den och sköljer även besvärlig disk gnistrande ren.
Inte illa. Tack ska du ha. Du, den där var faktiskt min. Vi kan byta den mot den där middagen jag hörde någonting om.
Dryga Yes maskindisk. Diskkraft du gärna byter till dig.
Ikväll så ska Bo Eneroth och jag prata om varför snälla flickor faller för farliga män. Svensk damtidnings Marianne Rolfstadius skvallrar ifrån kändisvärlden. Stefan Sauk lättar sitt hjärta och gör något så får Emma en helt ny stil. Vi syns.
The Chicago Blackhawks felt they needed a little more grit. Jim Cummins, introduce yourself. There's Mark Howe. And that's the kind of hit, and that's the kind of hitting as he takes one as well on the chin, but that's the kind of hitting that Darryl Sutter and the coaching staff they want from Jim Cummins, that energy level and that enthusiasm.
Cummins used to play for these Detroit Red Wings, was traded to Philadelphia, then went down to Tampa Bay, now here with Chicago. Sean Burr shoots it in behind the Blackhawk net. Belfour sticks it to the corner, but not out. Nicholas Lidstrom pitches in and has it stolen by Smith up to Amati. Poulin's the trailer. Amati to Poulin. He tries to center to the breaking Smith and fanned on it. Lidstrom behind the Detroit net. Sean Burr lines up Cam Russell. Amati does the same to Primo and bounces off. Patrick Poulin at center. He'll up in, and the Hawks will get a line change. So will Detroit. Coffey up to number 17. Now let's take a look at Steve Yzerman as Coffey's pass went awry.
We talked about the Lester B. Pearson Award, and that's an award given by the players. They vote the best player in the league. Yzerman won that back in '88-'89. Fedorov won it last year. Tells you what kind of respect these players have around the National Hockey League. Yzerman also spent a little bit of time with Wayne Gretzky's unit when they went overseas, and that was probably a big help because don't forget, he's overcoming some pretty serious neck surgery that was done by Dr. Barry Watkins out of LA, where you take the bone graft from the hip and you fuse it. I mean, that's some tough stuff right there, but he's bounced back and he's looking forward to a good year.
Here's Doug Brown on the backhand, goes just wide stick side with Yzerman cruising in. Yzerman now in the corner. He's looking to score. He hasn't scored a goal in his last 11 games. Gets a feed from Fedorov. Chelios ties Yzerman up, takes it away. A nice play by Chelios. And the Blackhawks look to clear. They do. Krasov tries to keep it in the Detroit zone. Yzerman takes it away and then has it retaken by Brent Sutter. Here's Bob Rouse, the former Toronto Maple Leaf. Mark Howe dumps into the Chicago zone. Chelios touches up as Howe's dump in was from beyond the red line. That'll be icing on Detroit. And a reminder, after our telecast tonight, it's the NHL Tonight with your host, Bill Pito. All the hockey highlights and hockey news of the day. It's the perfect show for the hockey fan that just can't get enough. After our game is through tonight, keep it where it is. The NHL Tonight for all the scores highlights. Speaking of scores, let's run it down. Washington, Ottawa, 2-2. Philly leads Quebec 3-1 in the second. Elsewhere, Tampa Bay lead the Islanders 1-0. On the island, New Jersey leads to Boston 2-1. I'll get it right. Montreal now 2-0 over Florida. 2-0 is the score there. Elsewhere around the NHL tonight, those are the only. One more game in progress. Toronto leads Anaheim 2-0. As the Ducks waddle into Ontario. Play is back on in the Detroit zone. There, the Red Wings have not had that many great scoring opportunities tonight on Belfour.
No, just one shot so far in this game. That's a little surprising, but you see the system that they're trying to utilize. They're trying to make sure they take care of their own zone. Something we're really not used to with Detroit.
No.
We're used to them just flying high and the great transition game and speed.
Speaking to Steve Eisman this morning, he said on every shift, either a defenseman or a centerman is back in the zone, in the Detroit zone, just to cover up in case there's any mess-ups at center ice. You can't argue with the success. Their goals against way down. Here's a shot by Weinrich. Hits the leg of Taylor. Martel Lapointe shoots it into his own players bench, and a whistle with 6:17 to go in the period. Bernie Nichols is complaining to Terry Gregson.
Well, maybe he's arguing because his good buddy Joe Murphy took one right here by Martin Lapointe. An excellent hit by Lapointe, former #1 draft pick to the Detroit Red Wings. Then in front of the net, you see Ramsey. Well, no wonder Bernie's got a beef. Look at Ramsey's got his stick up in the midsection and then drags him down. So Bernie went for a little bit of a leap. The neat thing about the Blackhawks so far this year, they've got tandem and friends. You know, you got Bernie and Joe. They hang out together. Heck, they live in the same apartment building in downtown Chicago. And then you got Suter and Chelios, and you got Roenick and Amonte. Good things come in pairs, I guess.
I guess so. 6:17 to go here in the first period. NHL action on the deuce tonight. Blackhawks Red Wings with Darren Pang. I'm Tom Mees. Joe Murphy's goal, the only one. Hawks lead at 1-0. Belfour goes to the corner. Thought he left it for Cam Russell. Now Russell ends up with it on the feed from Brent Grieve. Loose to center for Paul Coffey. Nicholas Lidstrom off the boards to Jason York. Coffey can't control the pass. Belfour in the backhand around the boards to Grieve. Up at center to Jim Cummins. Rouse around the boards. Heavy hit there by Steve Smith. Fans like that. Sillinger pulled out by Chance. No penalty there. Markow's pass over the stick of Sillinger all the way down behind the Chicago goal line. Chelios touches up. And another icing on Detroit. Let's check in with Deb Kaufman.
Okay, guys, Eric Lindros and the Flyers are in Quebec. It was 3-1 Philadelphia. Quebec has stormed back. It's Craig Lalana, and he'll get the goal, his first of the year. That cut the lead to 3-2, and now Quebec has tied it up 3-3. Let's go back to Tom Mees.
All right, Deb, thanks a lot. We'll see Philadelphia Saturday night on the deuce in Montreal. Those Quebec Nordiques suffered that loss in Pittsburgh there, and they're bouncing back tonight. We get set to face it off in the Detroit zone. Red Wings control it. Markal over to Cicerelli. Up to Sean Burr. Primo at center. Suter can't clear it. Markal picks it up, shoots, and goes wide. Rather a careless clearing attempt there by Suter. Rouse in his own zone. Cross ice to Howe. Under 5 minutes to go, first period. Rouse on the stick of Cicerelli. Cicerelli and Burr, co-owners of a minor league team in Sarnia, Ontario, trying to cook up a goal here. Almost there. Ramsey sends it deep. Roenick intercepts. Still loose in front of the Blackhawk bench. And look at Ramsey, puts his right skate on it to draw the face-off with 4:20 to go in the first. 1-0 Chicago.
The vill inte ha hål i tänderna.
Kliniska undersökningar visar att regelbunden användning av Swedish Professional förbättrar tändernas försvarsmekanism och främjar remineralisering.
Swedish är så bra därför att det innehåller så mycket xylitol.
Tandsalen försvinner.
Blå, blå vindar och vatten. Blå, blå himlar och hav. Blå, blå känslor i natten. För det är bäst med stillheten som gäller.
Welcome back to the United Center. Keith Primo takes a good looking right here from Gary Suter, but he gets him back as you watch the right paw. Woo! Right in the forehead. Keith Primo's having some trouble with that right hand. He has a protective device on that hand, and that's one of the reasons why he's not taking any face-offs, although he's a natural centerman.
Play is back on. Fedorov backhands it out of the zone as Ramsey took a hard hit from Steve Dubinsky behind the play. Krasov behind the Chicago net. Clears it high out the glass to Konstantinov. Yzerman at center. Pass taken by Krasov. Ramsey, all of 34 years young. Well, you got Mark Howe back there, who's over 40, and Ramsey, age 34, but they're still playing pretty well for Detroit. Fedorov and Yzerman behind the Chicago net, trying to work some magic. Yzerman tied up by Krasov. Fedorov has it stick to side by Chelios in a nice play. Suter takes Yzerman out of the play. Fans love that. And the Hawks clear it.
Every time you've got Fedorov and Yzerman on the ice, you've also got Gary Suter and Chris Chelios on the ice, and that's one of the benefits of having the last line change for Coach Daryl Sutter.
Boy, that's a lot of firepower. Fedorov and Yzerman on the same line. Joe Murphy pushes Taylor out of the way and carries into the Detroit zone. Taylor gets him back. Sticks and fists get up. That's about it, though. Weinrich at center. No penalties called in this first period by Terry Gregson. Taylor at center. LaPointe goes to the corner. Belfour gets there first. Nichols avoids the hit. Smith doesn't. Murphy up at center. Gets to clear it and on the stick of coffee. Poulan takes it away from Sean Burr. He and Nichols and Amante. Bernie Nichols waits in on the goaltender Vernon, who somehow got a piece of that. Poulan back to Nichols. And his pass is over the blue line out to center. Now Eric Weinrich controls. And a whistle for an offside at 2 minutes and 3 seconds left to go here in the first period.
One of the things about being a creative offensive player like Bernie Nichols, quite often you get caught looking for somebody instead of shooting the puck yourself. In the neutral zone, you see Bernie just kind of floating around, waiting for something to happen. Bang, now he's got it from Patrick Poulan. Bernie Nichols at the end of his shift, he's looking, the puck is rolling, and he can't curl drag it from the toe of his blade to the heel to the backhand. It kind of rolled right off his blade, so he never did get a good shot on goal, even though the veteran Mike Vernon was lying on his side, making sure it didn't trickle through him. Bernie's so good at dishing off the puck. That's who he's always looking for, somebody else to shoot that puck, whereas he's got a great shot in his own right.
Remember 6 years ago, Nichols with LA, 70 goals, Darren?
I remember it well. He got a bundle on me.
I didn't mean it that way.
It's one of the great offensive years in the history of the game.
Yeah, sure was. Only 6 other players, I believe, have gotten over 70 goals in a season. 7 others. All right, stand corrected. Here come the Blackhawks. Chelios. Vernon holds the post. Puck ends up behind the net. Primo is on it. 6'4" Primo to Cicerelli, who winds up, and Belfour has to make the glove save and cover the rebound. And now tempers are flaring, and Jim Cummins is in it behind the Hawk net.
There are 5 Blackhawk players. You notice the 2 defensemen for Detroit, Howe and Bob Rouse. They don't want to jump in because that means the faceoff would be outside the blue line. But some good physical confrontations deep. Blackhawks first had a scoring chance. Roenick busting in, making a move on the outside, and he beat Howe, and he just tried to smother on the short side. But it was a good save by Vernon, and then the Red Wings come up strong, and they get a couple of good chances. You got Burr, Cicerelli, and Primo right there, and Cummins. It looked like it was Cummins and Primo that were down behind the net. And I can't imagine with the bad hand that Primo has that he's going to want to be dropping the mitts at any situation. I'm sure Dino Cicerelli wanted the puck in that rush. But at the other end of the ice, Mike Vernon made a pretty good save in getting those pads down. Jeremy Roenick, ever dangerous in the offensive zone.
Face-off will be in the Hawk zone to the left of Belfour. Chelios in the corner. Yzerman intercepts deep for Detroit. Over to Fedorov. He's open and tries to wrap around. He may have had more time to do something more creative, but he got rid of it quickly. Nobody was near Fedorov.
Little wraparound effort by Fedorov. Being a left-hand shot, it's pretty difficult for you to get this puck up. So on his little sweep wraparound, that's why a lot of the goaltenders use the paddle of their shaft or their stick on the ice, because it is so difficult to get that puck up. But Fedorov, with that great stride and protecting the puck, was still able to get a shot on goal.
Wings win this face-off. Coffey just keeps it in. 1:10 to go here in the first period. Chelios in the corner. Again, Detroit just keeps it in the zone. Chelios tries to clear it. Nicholas Lidstrom kicks at it. Finally, Bernie Nichols carries to center. Doug Brown to Fedorov. Final minute of play in the period. Fedorov is onside. Sergei Fedorov wheels to the corner and tries to set up Coffey. Was intercepted by Chicago. Here's Gary Suter. Suter to Amati. Ball Coffey. Field cleared up to Johnson at center. Taken there by Jeremy Roenick. Oh, Roenick with a little bit of dipsy-do work at center ice. 360 to get away from the defender.
Your basic Savard-like spinorama. Like Danny Gallivan used to say.
A touch up behind the net by Suter with 0.9 seconds to go. That'll give the Hawks a belated face-off in the Detroit zone. Sports Smash is standing by at the end of our period with Deb Kaufman, your host. And she'll have first period highlights and highlights of other games around the league. And we'll be back with stats and highlights from our game here. Several games, a slew of other games around the NHL tonight. So you want to stay tuned for Deb and the Sports Smash coming up. Well, what can you do, Darren, with 0.9 seconds?
Well, you pull your goaltender first off, because there's no chance that the Red Wings can fire the puck down the other end of the ice, and that's exactly what Daryl Sutter is going to do. Get a six-man on the ice, and from this position, I think you've got to get enough right-handed shots on the hash mark so they can one-time it. Either that, or just have that centerman, which is Jeremy Roenick, just try to fire it right at the net. It doesn't happen very often. It's a great move if you can do it, but that's not a whole heck of a lot of time.
Basically, that's I think your best hope, because if you're going to draw the puck back, you've got less than a second for somebody to hit it and knock it past the goal line.
See, they got the everybody's on the line right there. Suter, Chelios. Now there might be a discrepancy with the time that was on the clock when the whistle went, and the clock actually trickling down. Notice Joe Murphy and a couple of the Blackhawks have gone right to the timekeeper's bench to take a look. Dr. Paul Ruck is the man responsible for the clock.
And now they've put a 10 up. Now they put it back up to 1.7, and this is a big difference.
There you go, Tom. That's the difference in drawing it back and having somebody else fire it, or having to fire it on your own.
Now Bowman and Mary Smith behind the Detroit bench, they can't be too pleased at this, and well, they're going to have to deal with it. 1.7. And it's a moot point as no one is able to get a shot off on net. One goal in the period. That from Joe Murphy. From Bernie Nichols at the 1:43 mark. Mike Vernon and his Red Wings skate off, trailing 1-0. The Blackhawks will go into their locker room with a 1-goal lead. We haven't seen the last of the scoring in this game. Deb Kaufman awaits.
Välkommen till en ny god morgon. God morgon med apelsin och blodgrape.
Heartbeat på onsdag.
An accident caused by a drunken hiker.
I know the way.
He didn't take a suitcase with him.
Why'd you ask?
A missing person. His wife was worried, and I knew for a fact the man was drunk when last seen. Are you sure he didn't mention he'd be away?
No.
Someone must know this pervert. If he's done it once, he'll do it again. And remember, today's flasher is tomorrow's rapist, and I want him caught.
Missa inte Heartbeat på onsdag klockan 9.
And welcome back live to Chicago's United Center. Only one goal in the first period. The reason why the Blackhawks lead at 1-0. And the one goal went to a guy that I'm sure Darryl Sutter is glad got that goal, and that is one Joe Murphy.
That's for sure. He went 5 games without a goal after scoring 8 in his first 7 games. So clearly Joe Murphy had to get something off his back and put the biscuit in the net. Bernie Nichols did a great job of bagging this puck out of the air off an errant pass from Nicholas Lidstrom right on the tape to Murphy. One-timer, 3 good saves by Mike Vernon, but by the time Vernon can try to get back in his net, Joe Murphy does a great job in wrapping the puck around and into the empty net. Now Bernie Nichols goes to his backhand. He has to right here because Murphy's the only guy open. And Murphy's a left-hand shot, so he's able to take that one-timer. Murphy, you can tell he really did want this. He wanted to make sure that he worked hard for it, and he did so, and he took a hit later on. Here, this shows the good save and the good footwork by Mike Vernon challenging the shooter. That is why he was so out of position when the rebound came around. He had to challenge the shooter on the initial play by going from the right side of his crease to the left side. Meanwhile, that wasn't the entire story in that opening 20 minutes of play. Hits and lots of them. Sergei Krivo-Krasov on Sergei Fedorov. Good hit to start the game. And then it's Tim Taylor on Eric Weinrich right in front of the Blackhawk goal. Big Steve Smith crunching rookie Jason York in the corner. And the newest addition to the Chicago Blackhawks, number 15, Jim Cummins, making his presence felt in that opening period. Had plenty of ice time and got some body work on Mark Howe, but then took a little hit of his own as well. So a good way to start that opening 20 minutes.
Well, you know, Darren, anytime the Detroit Red Wings meet the Chicago Blackhawks, the bodies will collide, the emotions will rise, and the hockey usually will be great. 1-0 Chicago, the second period in a moment.
En bra grillkorv ska vara lite större, så att den ligger stadigt i korvbrödet. Perfekt mat när man har bråttom. Och populärt att bjuda på, så ha alltid ett paket Scan Hot Dogs till hands. Man vet aldrig vad som händer.
Efter Ira Levins roman En kyss före döden, Ellen söker sanningen om sin systers död.
I think Dorothy went there to get married, and not to kill herself. If we can identify her boyfriend, I think you'll find I'm right.
Men hon kommer sanningen allt för nära.
I know what you did to Dory. I know all about it.
En kyss före döden, tisdag klockan 9.
Shots on goal, we've already documented for you. Scoring chances about even, which surprises me, Darren. I thought they were more weighted in Chicago's favor.
It seemed like that, but it looked to me like both teams were very responsible in their own zone. I mean, there wasn't that many odd man rushes, and that's a key for any coaching staff and any team, especially with the speed on both these sides. So they take care of their own zone. I look for that to open it up a little bit. It's going to naturally have to open it up, especially the tandem of Fedorov and Yzerman. They combined for only 1 shot on goal in that opening 20 minutes.
Darryl Sutter, the Blackhawks coach, throwing out his fourth line. Chance, Cummins, and Dubinsky, I believe, or Greaves. Chance, Cummins, and Greaves to start the second period. Here comes Lidstrom for the Detroit Red Wings. Nicholas Lidstrom, the veteran defenseman, has Berg trailing, can't get it to him. Steve Smith controls for Chicago and clears out the center all the way down in on Vernon, and this could be icing on the Hawks. It will be, as Paul Coffey touches up just 22 seconds into the second period.
Mentioned Big Keith Primo before, and we'll have to look as this game progresses. He's a feisty type of hockey player that a lot of players really challenge. Remember that draft in 1990? What a great one. He was 3rd overall. You had Owen Nolan, Nedved, then Primo went, then Ricci. Jagger went 5th overall. But Primo, as this game goes on, we'll see his line mate, Sean Burr, his left winger, was taking the majority of the face-offs. He also possesses, see that stick right there? That big one, that's the longest stick on that hockey club.
Maybe the longest stick on any hockey club.
Yeah, it's huge.
Keith Primo, you know, other people think highly of him because he's the one guy that when general managers talk to Scotty Bowman, that's the guy they want, Keith Primo. And so far, Detroit has managed to hang on to him. At center ice is Greg Johnson. Has it taken away by Grieve. Shantz for Chicago up to center. And a whistle for a two-line pass against Shantz. Another stoppage. Less than a minute there into the second period.
Well, Mike Vernon hasn't seen a whole lot of action in this game. You see the Verdi on the back of his mask. He's also possessing some brand spanking new pillows out there. Former Calgary Flame goaltender, and he's got the nice wings on his mask, but look at those bright red pads. Haven't seen a whole lot of biscuits there. You don't see any black marks on there. We'll have to kid Mike Vernon about that. There was an optional skate this morning, and Mike Vernon elected to exercise his option, to not go on the skate. Good news for Detroit, though. You know, you need your goaltenders to get along. Between him and Chris Osgood, the fine second-year pro, they just get along terrifically. It's a great tandem for those guys.
In the corner, it's Chelios for Chicago in his own zone. Amati, cross-ice pass to Poulin at center. Red Wings knock it back in for Belfour. Chelios back out to center to Tony Amati. Amati crisscrosses, bumps into Konstantinov, who loses his helmet. It's lying there at center ice. Chelios takes an elbow from Primo as he dumps into the Detroit zone. Kulak comes up with a loose puck. Tried to get it in front to Rodick. Broken up, and the Red Wings carry to center. Sean Burr tries to get around Chelios. Can't do that. Trying to center. Cicerelli dragged down, and the first penalty of the hockey game against the Chicago Blackhawks. Tony Amati will be called for the infraction.
Couple of pretty good situations. Cicerelli was just dying for that loose puck off an errant pass, and Amati sort of grabbed him. But here's the rush. Look at the strength right there. Sean Burr fending off both Chelios and Rodick, and then it was Amati that reaches back and grabs Cicerelli. Now, maybe Amati was a little frustrated, bouncing back in his own zone. Look at this. That's called standing you up at the blue line. And Detroit did an excellent job on that rush, fully respecting the speed of the Blackhawks. They had three guys back on a 3-on-3 break. And, of course, the system we talked about with Detroit, the left winger back. Well, Keith Primo was the guy back. They had three men right along the blue line. But Detroit will get the first power play of this hockey game.
2 minutes for interference on Tony Amati. First power play on the first penalty call. In the second period, Fedorov is out there with Yzerman, Doug Brown, Mark Howe, and Paul Coffey. That's the power play unit for Detroit. Working at a 22.9% efficiency, third best in the NHL. Chicago has the best in the NHL. And the Blackhawks have killed off their last 26 tries with a disadvantage. Last 26 shorthanded situations have not resulted in a score for the Blackhawk opposition. Let's see if that streak continues. Yzerman passes to the left wing, can't connect with Brown. Belfour comes way out of his net at the face-off dot. Clears the center. Now it's back to Yzerman. Steve Smith wraps it around the boards, but not out. Nicholas Lidstrom back into the corner. Lidstrom controls at the point. Broken up there by Bernie Nichols. Red Wings try and regroup. It's Fedorov at center, onside to Doug Brown. Time to take the slap shot on Belfour, who stops it with his glove and covers up on the rebound.
Good shot by Doug Brown. He was taken off the waiver wire by the Detroit Red Wings from the Pittsburgh Penguins, where, of course, Scotty Bowman had him there at one point or another, if I'm not mistaken. Plus 11 is tops on the team for the Detroit Red Wings. Has been a fine acquisition. 4-game point scoring streak was snapped last night in their victory over Toronto. He had 5 points in those 4 games. That shot was a little high and an easy one for Eddie Belfour to handle. I mean, anytime your goaltender challenged and he gets it right in the chest, it's a pretty easy one to handle.
Face off, back to the point. Coffey with a blast. Stick save by Belfour. Cicerelli behind the net. Slava Kozlov back to Coffey. Coffey to Lidstrom. Lidstrom dumps in. Primo trying to deflect it. Cicerelli controls. First extended pressure on this man advantage by Detroit. Coffey keeps it in. 35 seconds left to go. The penalty to Tony Amati. Steve Smith puts a hard one on Cicerelli. Vyacheslav Kozlov tries to center to Coffey, but it never got to his stick. And Primo will have to race to try and keep it in. Can't do so. Brent Sutter batted it out. 15 seconds to go on this Red Wing power play. Steve Smith will wipe out most of that as he clears the center. Kozlov back in behind the Chicago net. 4 seconds. Amati will be out. Joe Murphy knows it, clears it. And that'll do it for the Red Wing power play. 27 times in a row, the Hawks have killed the penalty off. Rodick tried to nail Primo and he missed.
Goodness, right on. It was Ramsey. Yeah, gee, face full of glass.
Yeah. Ouch, babe. Into the corner, Martel LaPointe. Round the net, intercepted there by Rodick. Jeremy doesn't care there. If he sees anything in a red suit, he'll go after it. I'll tell you that. Here's Murphy bidding for his second goal of the night, taken away by Johnson. Ray Johnson held up by the stick of Shands. Amati can't control it. Finally, Cummins bounces it out the center and into the Detroit zone. Fedorov avoids the check, and icing will be the call on the Detroit Red Wings as Eric Weinrich touches up. 15:22 to go in the second. Still 1-0 Blackhawks.
Du, ska vi gå ut och ta en prutt där eller svänga våra lurviga? Pruttställe? Eller lurvställe?
Prutt.
Lurv.
Prutt.
Lurv.
Prutt.
Lurv.
Prutt, prutt, prutt,
Lurv. Prutt. Lurv.
Prutt eller lurvställe. Titta i Getinguiden i 5:ans text-tv.
Are you Mr. Shannon? My boyfriend's in really big trouble. He got caught by some federal customs people flying a plane load of drugs.
Hope you got a good lawyer.
Who's he flying for?
He says a government agency.
Why do you think the United States government would help you run drugs into this country?
Because of the supplies. M16s, mortars. I can start an army with this stuff.
I think you might be in over your head here.
Got some bad news. Hey!
Ett fall för Shannon, torsdag klockan 9.
You're looking at one of the toughest players in hockey, Jeremy Rodick of the Blackhawks. Listen to this hit. Now, you're also looking at one of the most intelligent players there, 15 red, Mike Ramsey, because he got out of the way of that hit.
Well, it's not Ramsey's 15th season of NHL hockey for nothing. You avoid the big ones like that.
Mike Ramsey playing tonight in career game 1002. Most of his games with the Buffalo Sabres. Here he is in Detroit. Right play on behind the Chicago net. Steve Yzerman tries to work some magic with a backhand. Fedorov can't get the rebound. Doug Brown in the corner out to Markel, but he can't keep it in. 1-0 to score. Blackhawks and Red Wings on the deuce tonight. Tom Mees and Darren Pang with you live from United Center in Chicago. Christian Rutu has changed helmet styles this year. Chelios dumps in, stick to side by Vernon. Nichols behind the net. Chelios sets up, hits the leg of Steve Yzerman. The offside as the Hawks touched up, so Howe's allowed to carry to center. Nichols back the other way. Bernie Nichols trying to get it to Poulin. Instead centers in front to Amati, who from his stomach almost put that on goal. Now Weinrich gets a stick up in the face of Yzerman. Jeremy Rodick. He's hit at center by Markel. Sillinger up to Jason York. Rodick for Chicago up to Patrick Poulin. He's got Amati on the left wing and overshoots him. Rodick pinches in. Poulin keeps it in the zone. Rodick cuts to the net. He's there for the backhand. Hits the side of the net. Rodick in the corner. Has set up Poulin, who couldn't control it. There's a stick on top of the goal. Icing will be the call on the Detroit Red Wings as Steve Smith touches up. Action picking up. Deb Kaufman, what do you have for it?
Tom, the Canadiens have scored again on Florida. The pass goes out to Patrice Brisebois. His shot deflects off Dave Lowry's stick, and it's past John Van Beesbrook. 3-1 Montreal. Let's go back to Tom and Darren.
All right, Patrice Brisebois, Deb, who doesn't score often, now has 2 goals on the year. Let's take a look at this recent Blackhawk try.
Excellent pass by Patrick Poulin right on the tape of Roenick. Roenick tried a little spinorama, trying to get himself in position, knows he can't go to the forehand. This one just wide on the long side as Vernon was sprawled out. But a great pass by Patrick Poulin has quietly made a terrific mark on the Chicago Blackhawk club on the left side on their big line with Roenick and Tony Amani. They're sort of been called the rap line here in Chicago for this 95 edition.
Yep, Poulin, the former #1 pick of the Whalers back in '91, came over November of '93 from Hartford. Brian Martin, one of the players involved in that deal. Here's Greg Smith on for his first shift. He hits a teammate, Brent Sutter, it looked like, with that shot, and that hurt. Sutter started to go down and got back up to his skate. Brent Sutter pays the price again as he dumps it behind the Detroit net. Ramsey goes back for it. Up to Sean Burr. Ciccarelli on the right wing. Dino Ciccarelli to Keith Primo. Ciccarelli behind the net. That's his shot. Right around the net. Ciccarelli trying to center. Greg Smith wiped it out. Ramsey, he'll collide with Krivokrasov. Ciccarelli behind the net. Another penalty coming up on the Chicago Blackhawks. Greg Smith. He'll be called for a high stick by Terry Gregson. Greg Smith is no stranger to the penalty box. The Wings will be on the power play when we return.
Du Berra, han säger att Malmö FF ligger på 4:e plats. Det är skitsnack. Måste ju ligga på 3:e plats.
Ligger på 5:e plats.
Senaste sportresultaten. Titta i 5:ans text-tv.
It's reunion day. I don't care if he's in a bowling shirt with spaghetti stains down the front. I love surprises. This will be great.
Oh my God, I can't believe this.
Next, Oprah.
Oprah Winfrey, ikväll 6:30.
The Detroit Red Wings will go on their second power play. Greg Smith, the guilty party. Sean Burr comes in with a cross-check, and it looked to me like Smith just came back up, sort of protecting himself. But Smith is, well, he's the taller of the two. Smith's about 6'4", and his right part of his stick came up high.
Short-handed, Roenick steals it away from the Red Wings in their own zone. He'll just carry it to center, rank some time off the clock. Smith also has a bit of a reputation, Darren, and sometimes that can hurt you with the referees.
Well, you hope not in a situation like that. That was clearly, he was trying to defend himself from a cross-check on the original infraction, it looked like.
Eisenman has it taken off his stick at center. Fedorov's got to rush back for it. He gets there before Bernie Nichols. Detroit on its second power play opportunity of the night. The Hawks have not had one yet. And offside is Martin Lapointe with under 12 minutes to go. Well, Sunday night, the Blackhawks will be on National Hockey Night. Jeremy Roenick will face the likes of Mike Modano and the Dallas Stars, the Blackhawks and Stars, at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central Time, 5 Pacific Time on National Hockey Night, 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific Time. The Blackhawks and the Stars, and there's a look at the Chicago team we'll see Sunday night. They've really been a pleasant surprise this year, haven't they, Darren? I would think.
Well, the trades and the change that they've made the last couple of years, pretty much starting with the Joe Murphy trade of a couple of years ago, and then they've made the transition. They've really gone from the smaller ice surface in the Chicago Stadium to the bigger ice surface here, and the transition, quite frankly, has been perfect. I think surprising to a lot of the observers here in the Chicago area, pleasantly surprised. They're lighting up the switches in the local radio talk stations, and they're excited about this team.
Hawks have won 3 in a row. They're 7-1-1 in their last 9 games, and that 8-game road trip, first few weeks of the season that they dreaded so much, may turn out to be a real boon for them. Because coming down the stretch, you know, they survived at 6-2, and coming down the stretch, they're heavily weighted here at home.
Detroit has not had a sniff on either one of their power plays, and you know their power play is 22.5%, but on the road it's only 13.5%. We're seeing something very negative for the Detroit power play right here.
The Hawks had them bottled up in their zone, but now they break out. Slava Kozlov, and a whistle, what, for offside? Offside on the left wing, breaks up that Detroit rush.
Keith Primo was offside. The last time a team scored a power play goal against the Chicago Blackhawks was February 5th, against Vancouver. This is their 28th power play against them that it looks like they will successfully defend. Only 29 seconds left on the penalty to Greg Smith. Just excellent. And this without the services of the captain, Dirk Graham, one of the premier penalty killers in the game of hockey today. Dirk Graham is out with a sprained knee and will be out for at least the next week. So that's a key loss for them.
Talking with Captain Graham today, he said the knee is healing well. Maybe a little bit better than he expected, but he said, you're right, a week is probably realistic. All right, 20 seconds. Smith will be out of the box. Maybe one more chance for Detroit on the rush. Here comes Brown. Brown to the backhand. Sliding over is Belfour. Eiserman in the corner. Markow dumps it behind the net for Fedorov. 5 seconds. The sides will be even. Howe in the corner. Fedorov to Howe. One-timer. Hits traffic in front. And that'll do it for this Detroit power play as Smith is out. Fedorov at the blue line. Chelios wraps him up. Detroit played last night at home, beating Toronto. In fact, they beat the Leafs in a home-and-home series. They've been the more active team of late. Here's Murphy with a shot, and a great glove save by Vernon. That was ticketed low to the glove side, but Mike Vernon was there.
The positioning of both these veteran goaltenders is essential in watching these sequences. Joe Murphy, look at that shot, nice and low to the glove side, but look at the positioning of Mike Vernon, challenging the shot off a good transition play by the Chicago Blackhawks. Nichols to Murphy. It's a great tandem. Meanwhile, Eddie Belfour, here's another situation. You've got to shuffle, you've got to move, and then read the play. It's a tough play for a goaltender to read the backhand, and even though that was an innocent-looking shot by Brown, you saw how well Eddie Belfour moved from north to south and then moved across, and he kept everything along the ice, and he made sure that he didn't leave anything untouched right there. Good play by Belfour and a great play at the other end by Vernon.
Shots on goal in this period, 8-2 in favor of the Detroit Red Wings. Make that 8-3 as the Hawks put one in on Vernon, who makes another save to keep it a 1-0 game.
Again, how important it is on both sides of the ice. Right off the face-off, the veteran Bernie Nichols winning that draw. And again, as you said, Tom, Mike Vernon had to come up with a pretty good save right there. Finally, we're seeing some offense at either end of the ice. Maybe the battle in the neutral zone has been lost, but see Martin Lapointe overskate that puck, and Joe Murphy sort of stripped it right from him. And then Murphy, he's got a sneaky, quick little snapshot. We've seen it on several occasions already in this game.
Sean Burr wins the face-off from Bernie Nichols. And the Red Wings primo has it poked away by Nichols into the corner. Konstantinov is there. Primo has to retreat. Hawks continue to keep the puck in the Detroit zone. Primo gets it out but pays the price with a hit. Sean Burr backhands it into the Chicago zone. Gary Suter can't get it out. Konstantinov with a shot, wide glove side. Joe Murphy at center for Nichols. Up to Suter. Krivik-Krasov could not keep from going offside, and that'll blow the play dead. With 9:35 to go in the period, Murphy having a word or two with Sean Burr. Bernie Nichols also involved.
Well, it's Konstantinov. That was the hit that they're looking at right now. Gary Suter on an offside play up the right side of the boards. I don't think he ever saw Konstantinov. And the Blackhawks felt that that might have been a knee. You watch the... Oh, it's a hip check. Just a classic old hip check.
Yep.
Boy, that was a good hit by Konstantinov. Hey, anytime, though, it's Konstantinov and the Blackhawks. You go back to a couple of years ago when now Hartford Whaler Jocelyn Lemieux got tagged for about 75 stitches to the mouth as a result of a stick from Konstantinov. Oh, just a natural rivalry from that point on. But that was a good hit by Konstantinov. That's those old-fashioned hip checks. You actually kind of miss them in this game of hockey as long as no one's injured.
That's right. I mean, you love to see the hitting and whatnot as long as there's no intent to injure. And the worst hit in hockey, Darren, as far as I'm concerned, is the knee-on-knee. And there's guys in this league, and they know who they are, and so does everybody else, who make a habit of that. Fortunately, that wasn't the case there.
We're going to see a penalty right here. A slash on Tony Amonte. I think it was Kozlov, Slava Kozlov, number 13, going to the penalty box. And Amonte's really struggling. He's having a tough time.
Well, the first power play opportunity for the Blackhawks tonight, which means we'll see the NHL's best power play team so far this year.
There's Kozlov right there. Now, there's a retaliation by Amonte. Oh my. Well, you know, they always say the referees catch the last part of any incident, and that's exactly what happened. Even though Tony Amonte gave a couple of good whacks on his own, Kozlov said enough of that stuff, and Kozlov's slash was the worst of the three, and it got Tony Amani right in the midsection.
So the power play is on for the Chicago Blackhawks, clicking at over 29% coming into play tonight. Murphy is out there with Roenick and Suter, and Bernie Nichols and Chris Chelios. Belfour holds the puck for Suter. Suter carries to center. Gets it on the stick of Roenick. Play is onside. Roenick down low to Murphy. Hawks still trying to set up in the Detroit zone. Fedorov tries to clear, and Doug Brown does so.
Both power plays for both teams respectively haven't been that sharp in the early going, although this is the first power play from the Blackhawks.
Still a minute 5 to go on the penalty to Vyacheslav Kozlov. Pass ahead for Chelios is too far ahead. Now the Hawks regroup at center. Chelios to Nichols. Around Ramsey to Patrick Poulin. Centering pass intercepted, and Primo will clear. 45 seconds on the penalty right now to Kozlov. Chelios at center. Entry shot is taken away by Primo. Hit him in the leg and then control it. Under 30 seconds to go on the Blackhawk power play. Suter will lug into center again. Krivokrasov at center. Krivokrasov skates in. Amani trailing to play. Krivokrasov behind the net. Center's in front. Amani can't get it. Suter's there in the slot with a shot. Saved by Vernon. Off to his right. 3 seconds. The sides will be even. Chelios cross ice. Suter with a wrist shot. Hit traffic. And the Red Wings clear it all the way down behind the Chicago goal. So Chicago scoreless on its first man advantage, and Kozlov takes it away from Suter. Kozlov trying to get it to a breaking point. Overshot him. Back comes Amani. Krivokrasov is the trailer. Amani can't center it as Krivokrasov is tied up by Coffey. Coffey at center for Detroit. Coffey to Martin Lapointe. Lays there for Johnson, and Belfour saw it and made the save on a quick wrist shot by Greg Johnson. 1-0 Chicago.
Jag vill att mina barn ska få starka tänder.
Det tycker jag också.
Xylifresh är det nya tandhygieniska xylitoltuggummit. Kliniska undersökningar visar att regelbunden användning av Xylifresh Professional förbättrar tändernas försvarsmekanism och främjar remineralisering.
Xylifresh är så bra därför att det innehåller så mycket xylitol.
Sveriges tandläkarförbund stöder användningen av xylitol.
Jag vill ha friska tänder.
I kvällens bakom rubrikerna är den populära vanen en dödsfälla.
There's an investigation going on. We don't think there's any problem. We've got the safest minivan on the road by far.
Bakom rubrikerna ikväll klockan 6.
We've got a goal here from the blue line. It's Dennis Savard. He blows one by Jamie McLennan. It's his first of the year. 3-1 Tampa Bay. Let's go back to Chicago.
All right, Deb, it's ironic we'd see a goal by Savard because they were just showing some of his old Blackhawk highlights up here on the big board there.
Great fan favorite here in Chicago for so many years. Just celebrated his 800th assist just a week ago.
One of the great people in this game, Dennis Savard. And a two-line pass. Let's quickly take a look at our NHL scoreboard. Jim Schoenfeld's team needs a win. They might get it tonight in Ottawa. Elsewhere around the league, Philadelphia leading Quebec early in the third period. You just saw Savard's goal to help out the Lightning. Boston, we understand, has taken a 3-2 lead now on New Jersey. Montreal leads Florida 5-2. Toronto over Anaheim 3-1 in the third. Calgary and Los Angeles will start a bit later on. Montreal wins that game. Will be the first time a Canadiens team had ever won a game in the state of Florida. We'll have them on Saturday night in the province of Quebec against Philadelphia. Chance is thrown out of the face-off alignment. Red Wings control it in the person of Martin. Johnson at center, up to Tim Taylor. And offside is the call.
Steve Smith's a big part of the defensive core for the Chicago Blackhawks. Won 4 Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers, but I think even more unique than that is and surviving the broken femur in the fight with Ty Domi late last season against the Winnipeg Jets was the fact that during the lockout, Steve Smith decided to knock down a home in a nice area in the western suburbs of Chicago and build his own gall-darn house with his own hands and his own little nails, and currently living in that house, as a matter of fact.
Does he do odd jobs around the house?
He's got good hands.
Yeah, well, if he did, he wouldn't be one of the premier defensemen in the National Hockey League. Former Edmonton Oiler obtained a trade for Dave Manson. Here's Shantz with a shot in on the goaltender Vernon, who gets run by Cummins. And this is going to be something here. I mean, you don't let guys run your goalie after the whistle, after they made the save. I don't think it was on purpose, but...
No, I don't think so either. You see, now maybe I'm wrong on this, but Mike Vernon was out so far challenging.
Oh, look at that.
Lapointe got tabbed a little bit. That looked like an errant stick right afterwards, but that's Jim Cummins. They like him for that enthusiasm, and well, that's what he gave the Blackhawks in that play, but I have a feeling, I'm not sure about this, but they may be short-handed.
Oh, Cummins' stick is the one that whacked Lapointe accidentally on the left side, and Cummins may have seen his last action tonight. He's headed to the locker room.
You're right about that. Now Cummins comes in pretty hard after Vernon had made a save. To see where Vernon is in the net. Now play is stopped. I don't understand. Oh, his stick came up. Whoa! Carelessly way up on Lapointe, even though he had no control over it. Yeah, just really a careless play by Cummins, even though it looked to me like he really didn't know what the heck he was doing. Hey, we'll find out. We'll clear this out.
How about this? Come over here. Why don't you try a wet t-shirt contest?
Talk is cheap. I want your body.
What's wrong? Don't they feed you in there?
Excuse me, would you like to dance?
Taxi idag 1:30.
Welcome back to the United Center. Shot by Jeff Shantz, saved by Vernon. Here's the hit by Cummins, and here's the high stick. Right on the left side of Martin Lapointe's face. And now the Red Wings will go on the power play for 5 minutes. A major penalty given to Jim Cummins. And he has been ejected from this hockey game for high sticking. And even though it was very inadvertent, and I know, Tom, you were talking about he can't do that, but...
Brent Sutter with a shot, save Vernon. It was accidental, but the rule is the rules. 5-minute major because the blood was drawn and a game misconduct. Darryl Sutter's upset about it, but there's really not much Terry Gregson could do, in my opinion. I think he had to levy that penalty.
One of the things they point in the rule book is you're responsible for your stick, and clearly that was unintentional. It was a follow-through, but it all started from just the contact with Mike Vernon as Vernon made the save.
It was ill-advised, I think, for Cummins to go in on Vernon. So the Detroit Red Wings can score as often as they are able because of the 5-minute major. They're down by a goal, and this is a key point of this hockey game. Yzerman is out there with Fedorov and Coffey and Ciccarelli. The Hawks can't clear it. Ciccarelli, top of the circle. Intercepted on the pass down low by Chelios. And Chelios sweeps it down the ice. Nicholas Lidstrom now up to Fedorov. Taken away by Chelios. Boy, that Chelios is something else. And Rollins just buries one of the Red Wings into the glass. That's Konstantinov, and they love that here in Chicago. He laid him out. Fedorov. And a whistle coming up on the Red Wings as Chelios is taken down. Things are heating up at the United Center.
Doug Brown's going to get tagged for tripping. Fedorov carries the puck over the blue line. Oh, good play by Chelios. That's just a smart play by a veteran defenseman. Meanwhile, at the other end of the ice, oh, baby, here it comes. Konstantinov going back for the loose puck. Classic hit by Jeremy Roenick, something he does so well. Attacking in the offensive zone, taking advantage of the forecheck and his muscle and the way he can hit. One of the premier hitters in the National Hockey League, even though he's also one of the premier offensive players. He just will not slow down. I heard Chris Chelios the other day talking about Jeremy Roenick, and he was asked if maybe JR should slow it down, and Chris said, no way can he slow it down. If JR starts sort of lollygagging around the neutral zone, then you know that he's off his game. JR is an effective player when he eliminates the body, and at the same time, he dangles with the puck and feeds his wingers.
Jeremy Roenick only has one speed. That's full speed ahead. Face-off just outside the Blackhawks zone, so now it's 4-on-4 for the next couple of minutes. 4:42 left in the period. Weinrich. Here's Steve Smith at center. Smith whirls into the Detroit zone, goes low with it, tries to center. Coffey takes it away from him. Former teammates in Edmonton, Smith and Coffey. Johnson, Greg Johnson, 1-on-2. Nobody back to help him out, so he'll take the shot, goes wide glove side. Back we go the other way. Weinrich to Tony Amati. Amati to Steve Smith. Smith leaves it for Roenick. Roenick behind the net to center it, but Greg Johnson read the play nicely.
Great shift by Greg Johnson. An offensive chance on Eddie Belfour, and then he busts back to his own zone and makes a good play right in the slot, right in front of Vernon.
Weinrich at center to Suter. Suter in the corner, 1:05 to go in the 4-on-4, and then Detroit will have the man advantage back. Coffey at center. Coffey sees Fedorov, leaves it for him. The shot in on Belfour, the save. Chelios at center with Kulak. On the stick of Patrick Kulak, and he just couldn't get by Mark Howe, who had him angled off. Suter at the point, lets her rip, save, rebound is taken there by Ruutu. Kulak, cross ice. Now Suter with it. 34 seconds left on the penalty to Doug Brown of Detroit. 4-on-4. The Major continues to wind down on Cummins of Chicago, and he's gone for the night. Mark Howe at center. Howe, it's onside, but he's surrounded by Blackhawks. Takes a hit there from Joe Murphy, and here's Chelios at center.
I was going to say, you're allowed to hit Mark. I know he's the oldest player in the NHL, but Blackhawks watched him carry the puck in all the way to the neutral zone, across the blue line. Finally, Joe Murphy knocked him off the puck.
Now the Red Wings back on the power play as Kozlov is out of the box. Or Doug Brown, I should say, is out of the box. Cicerelli cross ice to Coffey. Coffey dumps in. Keith Primo is on it in the corner. 1:12 left to go in the Detroit power play. Murphy intercepts, but not out. Lidstrom and Coffey at the points. Here's Coffey closing in. Back to Lidstrom, one-timer. Save Belfour, rebound, and Belfour gets a piece of it. Cicerelli out front. Another one-timer. They score! Lidstrom! Well, a lot of Detroit fans in the United Center tonight, they're making some noise.
Well, the first time in this hockey game, the Detroit Red Wings had contained pressure in the offensive zone. A one-timer. Some terrific saves by Belfour, fending off 3 or 4 Red Wings. Cicerelli makes the pass that went off a skate right in the slot to Lidstrom. Look at all the Blackhawks on the ice. Nichols, Murphy, Smith sprawled out trying to block that shot by Lidstrom. And Belfour had a tough time as he was going back in position. Looked like he lost his balance and fell down. Then that puck went high above Eddie Belfour to tie this game up at 1-1. A lot of traffic in front of the net, and of course, who better than number 22? Cicerelli actually just was able to get a hold of that puck after Belfour nearly tied it up, and that was the difference in that entire sequence right there. If Cicerelli doesn't beat Belfour to the puck, Belfour covers it up, and it really kills off this penalty. But the Red Wings did their best job while with the man advantage on that power play.
Lidstrom, the 24-year-older from Sweden, his 3rd goal of the season from Cicerelli and Keith Primo on the power play at 17:52. So a 1-1 hockey game in Chicago. Here's Doug Brown at center. Remember, the Wings remain on the power play because the penalty to Cummins was a 5-minute major. They have 35 seconds more with a man advantage. Paul Coffey in the defensive zone. Is it to Fedorov? Fedorov over to Doug Brown. Lidstrom gives it back to Brown. Yzerman in the corner. Intercepted by the Blackhawks. Chelios at center. 1:22 to go in the period. Back the other way to Detroit. Here's Steve Yzerman. He's ahead of Suter. Yzerman hit on Belfour. And somehow Belfour, they got a piece of it. Yzerman never got the shot away. And now the penalty is expired, the 5-minute major. And the teams are back at 5-a-side. Last minute of play in the period. Here comes Paul Coffey. Coffey, he's in on Belfour, he scores! Second goal of the year for Paul Coffey.
That's what we talked about with the Red Wings. You look up and Yzerman's got a breakaway. Suter made a great defensive play on that breakaway, but then the transition game of the Red Wings from their own zone. Look at Coffey. How smooth is this? Through the neutral zone. A good little pick set up at the blue line. Then one quick, gets himself in a position, settles the puck down, middle of his feet, right here. He sees he's got a shot, bang. So he goes against the grain. Belfour gets caught moving a little bit out of position a little bit. Then next thing you know, it's right through the midsection of Eddie Belfour. But there's few players in the league that can take a puck like that and fire it without missing a stride and just plain old goofing up the goaltender like Paul Coffey. What a great play by number 77.
Coffey's goal in 1908, unassisted. That's his second goal of the season. And time now to take a look at our Pringles storyline on Fire on Ice, ESPN2's coverage of the NHL. Murphy of Chicago, the lone Blackhawk goal. Team defense, Detroit #1, Chicago #2. Bet you didn't know that. Detroit undefeated in their last 5. Chicago outstanding in their last 9. So this is the irresistible force and the immovable object meeting tonight. And it's 2-1 Detroit thanks to that man, Paul Coffey. 34 seconds to go here in the second period. Weinrich and Primo. Chance, a quick shot in on Vernon. Comes out to Steve Smith, whose shot deflects high into the crowd. Oh, Mike Vernon had to be ready there. Jeff Chance let a quick one go.
What a defensive block by Mike Vernon's teammate, Sean Burr. And Sean Burr is pretty darn good at sliding and blocking shots. The initial shot was saved by Vernon. Now watch number 11. He got himself down in a good position, blocking a hard, low drive by Steve Smith. Then that puck went into the stands, and the fans had a little altercation to the left of Vernon. Face-off right in a peculiar position, right in the high slot.
Chance and Burr will take the face-off, a pair of 11s. Chance wins it, but Ciccarelli comes away with it to center. Now it's poked away from Ciccarelli by Poulat, and the Red Wings regain it right away with 10 seconds to go in the period. 2-1 Detroit. Goals by Lidstrom and Coffey. Pair of defensemen have the Red Wings on top as the horn will sound. Well, Paul Coffey, who has more goals, more assists, more points than any defenseman in NHL history. His late goal has put Detroit on top. 2-1 after 2. Deb Kaufman awaits with another sports match.
I mitt jobb äter man när man får tid. Och det är klart att det inte är bra för tänderna att småäta som jag gör. Därför tuggar jag alltid extra sockerfri tuggummi. Eftersom jag vet att extra håller tänderna hela och friska.
Det är därför extra får använda Sveriges tandläkarförbunds symbol.
Hej! Ikväll på Ögonvittnen får vi se följande inslag. Vi får följa ett ungt par som länge försökt få barn och deras olika vedermödor på den känslosamma vägen mot föräldraskap. En bevakningskamera fångar en mycket talför tjuv. De hemska bilderna om de överlevande och hjältarna i en flygkatastrof. En kvinna filmar vad som till en början såg ut som en inte alltför hemsk idrottsskada. Missa inte Ögonvittnen ikväll, 21:00 här i 5:an.
And welcome back live once again to Chicago's United Center. Tom Mees and Darren Pang back with you in a 2-1 hockey game. This time Detroit has the 1-goal advantage, and I think the defining moment of this game, Darren, maybe look back to that 13:49 mark of the second period when Jim Cummins ill-advisedly went in on goaltender Vernon, and we'll take a look and see what happened.
There's a lot of keys to this entire play, and one of them is the positioning of where Mike Vernon is. He's outside of his crease. I don't think initially Jim Cummins knew exactly what he's doing. I don't think he meant to exactly take out Mike Vernon. That's not the call, though. The call was the high stick rate after that on Martin Lapointe, and it cut Martin Lapointe after that. So Terry Gregson decides to give him the major for high sticking, and that results in a power play tally. Now here's the power play goal by the Detroit Red Wings. Plenty of traffic in front of the goal. Watch the stick of Dino Ciccarelli, right there. Sneaks it from under the glove of Ed Belfour. Now this is how Belfour gets caught out of position. He thought he was going to cover up that loose puck, and Lidstrom's shot with 3 sprawling Blackhawks on the ice goes high over the glove side. Look at that little water bottle knocker. Sends it up 4 or 5 inches right over the sprawling Ed Belfour, making this a 1-1 hockey game. Transition game. Well, Jeremy Roenick gets caught, pickpocketed actually, by the future Hall of Famer Paul Coffey. This is late in the second period at 1907. The position of Paul Coffey and how he was able to get the puck back to a good scoring position. He's on his off wing, and it's very difficult to get any mustard on the puck when you're on your off wing. Paul Coffey, known as using one of the shorter sticks, he just got excellent wood on that shot. I think it clearly caught Eddie Belfour off guard, but nonetheless it gives Detroit a 2-1 lead.
Folks, the NHL season has officially been christened with their first water bottle knocker of the year. Back to Chicago in a moment.
Välkommen till en ny god morgon. God morgon med apelsin och blodgrape.
I Top Cops på onsdag.
So, Mr. Small, let's go. Get in! You have oxygen for 48 hours. You tell her what's happening and you make her believe it. Bill, this could be it.
We want Stephen Small back, alive.
Top Cops, onsdag klockan 10.
And welcome back to Chicago's United Center as Terry Gregson drops the puck. The third period underway in a 1-goal hockey game. The Detroit Red Wings leaders in the NHL's Western Conference by 2 points over the Chicago Blackhawks, the top 2 teams in the conference, separated by a goal with 20 minutes to play. Ed Belfour deep in the Chicago zone, leaves it behind his net for Steve Smith. Sean Burr falls down, and Smith is able to get it cross ice, and here at center ice comes Jeff Shantz. Shantz with Davinsky, or Krasov. Shantz the backhand, he scores! Jeff Shantz wakes up the United Center.
Man, oh man, what a great play by Jeff Shantz. Through the neutral zone, a little bit of speed. Watch this move on the veteran Howe. Uh-oh. Right through the old stick area, right past the skates. Howe falls down on the backhand now. And Shantz waits until Vernon makes a move. This one barely slides over the goal line. And Krasov's banging for the net. Sutter's banging for the net. But what a terrific play by Jeff Shantz in his second year of professional hockey. Scored a goal against San Jose on Monday. Now he's got his 3rd of the year.
Shantz, the second-round draft pick of the Red Wings in 1992, pays dividends right here early in the 3rd period, and it ties it up at 2. Let's see if that juices up the Chicago attack. Jeremy Roenick now behind the Detroit net, taken down by Ramsey, and they both go to the ice. Loose puck in the corner. This is Sergei Fedorov, who has not been much of a factor in tonight's game.
No, this big line has been clearly and cleanly shut down by the Blackhawks. They have not had any terrific scoring chances.
Jeremy Roenick. Entry pass is easily picked off by Ramsey. The official on that, chance from Sutter and Weinrich at 32 seconds in the 3rd period. Ties it up at 2. That's Brent Sutter. Here's a shot by Doug Brown off the stick of Chelios. Goes up into the second deck of the United Center. That's a long way. Jeff Shantz with a smile on his face, and why not?
I guess so. This is worth another look. Clearly is.
Jeff Shantz has been utilized as a third and fourth line player, but what a great move he made on Mark Howe, and Howe sprawled the whole way. He was on all fours. But Shantz, the key is the patience at the very end. He had to wait it, and Vernon made that classic two-pad stack, but it snuck underneath the armpit. And so Jeff Shantz, a very popular member of the Chicago Blackhawks, second-round draft pick in 1990, played in the Western Hockey League, showing some good hands.
Pompey the shot inside the blue line. Belfour juggled it and finally covers up. We mentioned a moment ago that these are the 1-2 teams in the Western Conference. We don't lie, friends. Now, Calgary right now would be seeded second, but if you take it in terms of points so far in the season, Detroit is 1, Chicago is 2, St. Louis up there with 21 points as well. The seeding there becomes a factor as we get closer to playoff time. If you win your division, remember, you are guaranteed no lower than a second seed in your conference playoffs. All right, the Blackhawks back at center. Ruutu will dump into the corner. Tim Taylor there for Detroit. Ruutu pitching in. Falling down behind the net was Bernie Nichols. Murphy corrals the pass to center, but he can't hang on to it. Paul Pompey. On the stick of Lidstrom, over to Taylor. Weinrich puts a good hit on Taylor. Weinrich keeps it in the Detroit zone. Here comes Krasov down the slot, and Vernon slides over and gets a piece of it. Krasov came from nowhere. Detroit with a little loose play in their own zone. Nichols taken down by Martin Lapointe, who's undoubtedly had some stitches in between periods. Greg Johnson all the way down the ice. Belfour lets it come around because when Steve Smith touches up, we'll have icing on the Detroit Red Wings.
The Blackhawks really gaining some momentum in this hockey game in the early stages of the third period, largely as a result of Jeff Shantz's solo effort to tie this game up at 2 apiece. Bernie Nichols, a neat little feed right on the tape to Sergei Krivo-Krasov, and another good move by Krivo-Krasov, but a terrific save by Vernon. Nichols, actually, this one was an errant pass. It actually went off of the skate of Lapointe, but Krivo-Krasov trying to go far and trying to wait it out, but a terrific save by Mike Vernon. And the same type of move by Vernon made on that play, he made on Shantz when Shantz slid underneath him.
Back to the point for Chelios off the face-off. Hits the defense in front and dribbles out to center. That's got to hurt when you get hit by a shot from a real heavy hitter like Chelios or Suter from the point.
Kozlov gave it back to him with a stick on the back of the leg.
Krivo-Krasov had it along the boards, taken away there, and poked up the center. Here comes Mike Sillinger, carries into the Hawk zone. Quick one in on Belfour, and they score! Eddie Belfour appeared to fan on that shot. We're going to have to wait and see what the official is if another Red Wing touched it before it crossed the line.
Sillinger made the play across the blue line. The Blackhawks gave him room. This innocent-looking shot eluded Belfour. It snuck behind him, and it was on its way in regardless, but Fedorov clearly tapped it in before it crossed the red line. It had momentum. This probably would have snuck through there as you see it coming. It was still going, but of course you're not going to take any chance. And because Chris Chelios was right there, Fedorov banks it home. So even though Fedorov hasn't had one of his best games, he's able to tap home a little empty netter right there. And again, Detroit's got some life now.
11th goal of the season for Sergei Fedorov. Would you call that a less than spectacular effort in goal there by Belfour? Pull out of the shot. It's the leg of Konstantinov. He appeared to almost fan on that. Suter at the left point. Down to Roenick. Roenick to the right of the net. Cicerelli behind his own goal. Taken away by Tony Amati. Chelios at the right point. Save in the right pad. And Amati is headed toward the net. Gets hit in the head by his own teammate Poulat. Boy, Tony Amati will be hitting a whirlpool after this game.
He's been banged around an awful lot in this game. But boy, he goes to the net well, Tommy. See if the Blackhawks can come back in a moment.
premiär på Drömfabriken här i Femman klockan 20.00. Välkomna då!
In Quebec, things have just gotten real interesting. With under 2 minutes to go in the third period, Adam Deadmarsh skates on and he'll beat Ron Hextall. Deadmarsh with his second goal of the game. They're all tied up.
All right, Deb Coffin, that game we understand is now in overtime, tied at 6 in Quebec City. Here it's 3-2 Detroit. On a goal by Sergei Fedorov. Joe Murphy behind the Detroit net. He's tied up. Fedorov in the corner. Backhands it up to Brown. Eiserman leaves it for Coffey, who dumps it into the Chicago zone. Markow got an assist also, along with Sillinger, on a goal by Fedorov. Here's Chris Chelios at center. Chelios is cut off, double-teamed. Eiserman now at center, has a 2-on-2. Eiserman, beautiful pass to Fedorov, whose shot is high over the net. Eiserman put it right on Fedorov's tape. Gary Suter at center. Suter gets between the defense. In front, Nichols, saved by Vernon. Mike Vernon with maybe the save of the game for Detroit.
Timely save for Mike Vernon. The Blackhawks have really taken it to the Red Wings in this period, even though they've got the last goal and have a lead. Great rush by Gary Suter in corralling the puck and then getting over to Bernie Nichols. And Nichols somehow managed to bang this one out of midair. And Mike Vernon was able to get it with, it looked like the blocker. But a good rush again by Gary Suter. He's got great legs and he's got great end-to-end speed, good instincts. It was the last little one that really got through to Vernon, but Vernon was able to corral that loose puck. Bernie Nichols has just got great hand-eye coordination.
Say that again. Hawks keep it in the Red Wing zone. Now back out to center. Steve Smith has to chase it. Belfour way out of his net as he saw Greg Johnson breaking in. Under 15 minutes to play. Red Wings lead it 3-2. Martin Lapointe, bad angle shot. Right pad save. Belfour. Weinrich round the boards. Kriva Kratsov tries to dig it out. Dribbles back into the Detroit zone for Markow. Detroit wins tonight. They take a 4-point lead over Chicago in the division of the conference. If Chicago should win, the two teams would be tied at 23 points each. Steve Smith at center. Backhand to the corner where Ramsey is there for Detroit. Eiserman at center, dribbles off his stick. He'll dump in for Vyacheslav Kozlov. Back to Eiserman in front to Sillinger. Play developed a little bit slow at the end. Sillinger couldn't get his stick on it. Kozlov. Cam Russell tries to get it away and does. Here's Roenick. Roenick and Konstantinov, not the best of friends, and Konstantinov buries Roenick at center. Tony Amati behind the net. Centering pass intercepted. Chelios keeps it in. Roenick and Sillinger vying for possession. It's Sillinger. And Kozlov dumps in, and Red Wings will get a change. Chelios in his own zone, shadowed by Sean Burr. Over to Nichols. Rutu knocked down the cross-ice pass nicely by Cicerelli. Pass for Cicerelli too far in front. But Dino catches up to it. Sean Burr in the corner. Cicerelli. Bothered there by Weinrich and taken away. Bernie Nichols. Rutu behind the Red Wing net. 12.5 minutes to go, third period. NHL action tonight on the deuce. Red Wings lead it 3-2 in Chicago, and here comes Paul Coffey. Shot is wide. Hawks break out. Rutu pulls up. Trying to put it on the stick of Nichols. His stick is being held by Brown. Bernie Nichols wanted a penalty. He might have had a point. Here comes Eiserman at center. Eiserman breaks in. Eiserman's shot is hit down by Chelios. Eiserman back with it in the corner. Nichols ties him up. Suter gets the puck away. Chelios behind his own net. Krasov at center. Several minutes of non-stop action here. Brent Sutter dumps it in. Kept in by Gary Suter. Brent Sutter to Chelios. Back to Suter. Fans urging him to shoot. Suter sends the pass wide. Brent Sutter behind the net. Off the stick of Chelios back to center.
Yeah, Chelios and Suter, neither one of them in real good position to actually shoot that puck.
Suter takes to the corner. Konstantinov ties it up for the faceoff. Ones are wild. 11-11 left to go regulation. Detroit leads by 1.
En bra grillkorv ska vara lite större så att den ligger stadigt i korvbrödet. Perfekt mat när man har bråttom. Och populärt att bjuda på. Så ha alltid ett paket Scan Hot Dogs till hands. Man vet aldrig vad som händer.
Ikväll så ska Bo Eneroth och jag prata om varför snälla flickor faller för farliga män. Svensk damtidnings Marianne Rolfstadius skvallrar ifrån kändisvärlden. Stefan Sauk lättar sitt hjärta och gör något så får Emma en helt ny stil. Vi syns.
Not often one team plays on 2 networks in 1 week. The Blackhawks are that team this week. On the news tonight on ESPN Sunday night. Blackhawks in Dallas to battle Mike Modano on the Stars. You'll see live from Reunion Arena in Big D Sunday night at 8:05 Pacific time. 3-2 Red Wings here. Tom Mees and Darren Pang with you. In front, it's Amati, and Vernon grabs it out of midair. And Tim Taylor and Tony Amati have some words.
Amati's stick got up on Taylor right after the save by Mike Vernon. Vernon using his left trapper to grab that puck out of midair. Off the face-off again. Jeremy Roenick against Johnson. Sort of a broken up play, a good play by Vernon, but you saw the stick of Tony Amati on the right side of your screen, clipping Taylor. Amati's been flying all over this ice, literally and figuratively speaking. His body's been flying, his wheels have been churning. He's going, not from a lack of effort that he hasn't scored in this contest.
4 goals on the season for Amati, the 24-year-older. The Chicago Blackhawks from the Boston area. Sean Burr, the Detroit Red Wings, cross-ice pass for Cicerelli, intercepted by Nichols. Eric Weinrich behind his own net, trying to get it out to Brent Grieve. Mike Ramsey pummels it back in for Detroit. Weinrich in his corner to the right of Belfour. Smith to the stick of Krasov, up to Grieve, who takes a hard hit and a good one from Konstantinov. Weinrich at the point. He is sent flying by Sean Burr. Heath Primo. Cicerelli with his body being held up by Nichols' stick.
A lot of line changes here. Daryl Sutter electing to go with Bernie Nichols with Brent Grieve and Krivo Krasov. Little change-up maybe to diversify the offensive attack.
There's Sillinger, Mike Sillinger on the stick of Coffey. Shot well wide. Rebound by Kozlov. Sillinger in the corner with Chelios. Under 10 minutes to go, 3rd period. Jeremy Roenick at center. Intended for Murphy. Red Wings intercept and send it back. This big crowd of over 20,000 here at the United Center waiting for their heroes to do something to tie this game. Roenick is taken down and an ill-advised penalty by Sergei Fedorov, and he knows it.
Well, this will give the Blackhawks an opportunity with the man advantage, their second power play of the contest. Jeremy Roenick trying a spinorama, something he's pretty darn good at. Right here, he's going to go back to his left. A little hook by Fedorov, and bang, body goes down. And you got to know that if the body wants to stay up, the body would stay up. But it goes down at a pretty good time. And it's a hooking call on Fedorov.
Are you saying that Jeremy would actually embellish the body contact?
Tommy, we've seen enough for hockey, haven't we?
Yep. Good play by Roenick, and the Blackhawks will be on the power play for the next 2 minutes. Unless we have some other minor penalties in the interim. You got Suter, Chelios, Nichols, Pula, and Amati.
Blackhawks power play on home ice has been brilliant. 30.6% on home ice and 29.5% overall. That, my friends, is the best power play in the National Hockey League.
And the fans being urged by the electronic drumbeat to get into this game. Steve Yzerman wins the initial face-off here. And the Red Wings are able to dump it down the ice. Now Chelios will organize behind the Blackhawk net. Bernie Nichols steams at center. He and Pula on the right wing. Markow and Yzerman out there on that side. Force it to Suter. Over to Chelios. Quick wrist shot. Save Vernon. Rebound. And Vernon holds on to the puck. Let's quickly check in with Deb Kaufman.
Thanks, Tom. We've got an early goal out in LA to show you. It's a shot by Philippe Rouget, but Kevin Todd will get credit for it. He tips it in, beating Trevor Kidd. The Kings take a 1-0 advantage. Let's go back to you, Tom.
All right, Philippe Rouget, one of those youngsters coming over in the Zhitnik deal with Buffalo.
He's a good defenseman that has a pretty good shot. Now, Suter and Chelios on the point on the power play. Neither one really had an opportunity to shoot it hard and let it rip, but this little snapshot got through, and that's the key for the defenseman on the power play. As long as the shot gets through, there's traffic in front. I thought Mike Vernon did a nice job of seeing through the screen and keeping control of the rebound as well.
Don Barron Nichols. Nichols wins the faceoff. 1:30 to go on the power play. Shot from the point by Chelios. Save Vernon. Nichols down behind the net. Back to Chelios at the right point. Patrick Pula. Chelios wants the one-timer, but he's out too far. Poulin down low. Takes the bat angle shot. Nichols on the doorstep. Can't control it. Vernon was down, but Nichols couldn't control it. Hawks keep it in the Detroit zone. Here's Nichols again. The shot is wide, glove side. High and wide, and the Red Wings clear it into the crowd with 1:01 to go on the Fedorov penalty.
Terrific puck movement by the Blackhawks on the power play, but in front of Mike Vernon comes the veteran Ramsey. Now first the puck movement on the perimeter. In front of the net there was a good battle between Roenick and Ramsey, and that's saved by Mike Vernon. The Red Wings were able to clear, but they continue on, and now Bernie Nichols trying to go high to the glove side, just missed it. To the left of Mike Vernon. Here's the battle that we're talking about. Ramsey making sure he ties up the man. Okay, you're not going to score if I got your stick, partner. And then he releases right away. Pushes out, releases right away. Grabs onto and releases so that the referee can't see that he's deliberately doing so.
Nichols behind and to the right of Vernon. Back out to Suter. Still about a minute to go in the man advantage. Here comes Chelios. Chelios to Krivik-Krasov now in the corner. Back to Chelios. Over to Suter. Over to a wide open Nichols. Back to Suter for the one-timer. Hits traffic in front. Here's Nichols. The shot hits a stick in front and caroms to the corner. You always hold your breath with Bernie Nichols with some open ice. 30 seconds to make that 25 seconds to go on this Chicago power play. Krivik-Krasov intercepted nicely there by Konstantinov, and that'll do it for most of the rest of the time.
Nice defensive play by Konstantinov. Bernie Nichols had a couple of whacks at loose pucks and just couldn't get it through on goaltender Mike Vernon.
8 seconds. Fedorov will be out. Suter with a body block there by Brown. Here's Roenick to the right of Vernon. Roenick is bodied off by Konstantinov, who's doing yeoman work, killing off this penalty. The penalty is over. The puck is in the corner to the left of Vernon. Hits some bodies. Still in the Detroit zone. Now out to center. Here's Fedorov out of the box. Beating Doug Brown. Brown with a bad angle shot. Save Belfour. Weinrich in the corner to the right of Belfour. 7:10 to go in the game.
Excellent defensive play by Doug Brown, and then in the offensive zone once the penalty expired, not only does he do a nice job of killing off that penalty, then he got a good shot on Belfour.
Paul Coffey behind the Detroit net. Round the boards to the point. It's Brent Sutter. Weinrich at center. Brent Grieve fans on it. Steve Smith dumps it into the Detroit zone. Brent Sutter is on it. Sent it back to Weinrich at the point. Don't know why I did that. Hawks do manage to keep it in, though. Martel a point. Picks it up for the Red Wings in their own zone. 6.5 to go in the third. The point flying at the left wing. His shot hits the stick of Weinrich into the crowd with 6:21 to go in the third period. In a classic matchup here in the Western Conference, Detroit by a goal.
Varje gång du äter eller dricker startar en syraattack som leder till hål i tänderna. Extra sockerfritt tuggummi stoppar syraattacken omedelbart och hjälper dig att hålla tänderna hela och friska. Det är därför Extra får använda Sveriges tandläkarförbunds symbol.
Det finns ett diskmedel med diskkraft som ända upp till 3 billiga flaskor. Yes Ultra Plus. Ett fynd varje gång.
Hej mamma, ska du diska? Det är redan diskat. Jag som hade tänkt äta middag här. Har inte du flyttat hemifrån? Varför använder du inte Yes? Ja, jag får väl handdiska då. Yes, maskindisk mamma.
Med Yes behöver du bara hälften. Dess 3-stegseffekt bearbetar smutsen, löser upp den och sköljer även besvärlig disk gnistrande ren.
Inte illa. Tack ska du ha. Du, den där var faktiskt min. Vi kan byta den mot den där middagen jag hörde någonting om.
Dryga Yes maskindisk. Diskkraft du gärna byter till dig.
Red Wings by goal with 6:21 to go elsewhere tonight. Quickly in the NHL, final scores that are in. Washington, Ottawa, 5 all-time. Philly and Quebec, a 6 all-time. Tampa Bay a winner on the island. Boston a winner in New Jersey by 1. Montreal wins in Florida by 3. Toronto beating the Ducks 3-1, and Calgary trailing LA early in the first. 1-0. Broken stick in the Chicago zone, but the puck is loose at center. Now the Red Wings dump in. Steve Smith goes back for it.
That was the stick of Jeff Shantz. Then he reached over and took Brent Sutter's stick from the bench.
Mark Howe at center. Knocked the puck right into the body of Steve Smith and back into the Detroit zone. Tony Amati to Steve Dubinsky. Dubinsky with a shot. Brennan save. Rebound in the slot. Amati has it but can't control it. Amati to the corner. Over to Dubinsky. Chance with 1 goal tonight. Chelios keeps it in at the point. Chelios seems to have been out there all of this third period. Fedorov dumps to center. And the Wings go for a change, so does Chicago. Chelios off the boards. Can't connect with Ruutu. A little bit too far for Murphy to control. Remember, NHL tonight, following our telecast tonight from Chicago. Keith Primo. Primo controls, lines up the shot, passes instead. Gets it over to Burr with Cicerelli in front. Now it's Primo in the corner. Cicerelli behind the net. Cicerelli, longtime tormentor of the Blackhawks. Primo. Chelios does his job and takes Primo out. And Ruutu clears it with 4.5 minutes to go in the game. Icing the call in Chicago as Mike Ramsey touches up. 4 minutes, 23 seconds to go in a 1-goal exciting game.
Heartbeat på onsdag.
An accident caused by a drunken hiker. Another one. He didn't take a suitcase with him.
Why'd you ask?
A missing person. His wife was worried, and I knew for a fact the man was drunk when last seen. Are you sure he didn't mention he'd be away?
No.
Someone must know this pervert. If he's done it once, he'll do it again. And remember, today's flasher is tomorrow's rapist, and I want him caught.
Missa inte Heartbeat på onsdag klockan 9.
Well, these are the top 2 teams in the NHL Central Division this abbreviated year. The Red Wings and the Blackhawks separated by 2 points. St. Louis with just 1 more loss than Chicago, but the same point total. So therein lies the importance tonight, and it's a 1-goal Detroit lead down the stretch. 4:13 to go. Krivokrasov Can't control it. Paul Coffey back in his own zone. Up to Doug Brown. Fedorov to the corner. Yzerman has it sticked away by Chelios, but he gives it up right to Fedorov. Poulin along the boards for Chicago. Brown off behind the back of the net. Fedorov, Yzerman. Fedorov out to the point and out of the zone, intended for Lidstrom. Now it's Doug Brown with a quick one, and Belfour had to be sharp and made the save. Shots on goal are even in this one at 25. Poulin dumps to the corner. Primo intercepting the shot by Suter. Big Keith Primo, he's all alone in the zone. Now he's got Sean Burr, the trailer, but can't get it to him. Burr hustles to the corner. They'll tie it up for a face-off with 3:03 to go here in the third.
Well, there's been many individual battles in this game, including one a couple of minutes ago between Chris Chelios and Big Keith Primo. Again, the Detroit Red Wings, and you'll notice down the stretcher with just 3 minutes left in the hockey game that the left winger, and in this situation it would be Primo or Burr, they'll be the high guy back at all times, locking into position. Clearly they're much more aware as a team, Detroit is, about having a third man high. Their system has been implemented since Barry Smith, their assistant coach, took off to Europe in the off-season, and they've discovered a new little system, and it's been working for the Red Wings. You saw right in the beginning of this hockey game, they didn't open it up right away. They played it close to the vest, and they tried to frustrate the Blackhawks in the early going, and then they became a patient hockey club, got their chances afterwards, and now they lead this game by a score of 3-2.
When you have a system and the players buy into it, Darren, it can be a mighty powerful thing.
Well, a lot of times if you don't buy into it, you don't play.
Yeah.
Easy way to put it across.
Especially when Scotty Bowman's your coach, right?
I tell you, a good example of this is Steve Yzerman. I mean, he's naturally a centerman, you know, and he's forced in this game. He's not played center one time during this game. He's been the left winger, and he's been the first guy back on that line the entire time. So when your captain, perennial all-star, has been buying into the system, you know everybody's following suit.
Well, coming up right after we finish our business here in Chicago, the NHL tonight, Bill Pito is currently working his fingers to the bone, editing all the tape, getting all the highlights, all the news of the day and night in the NHL. It's the NHL tonight, a hockey fan's dream, every night, Tuesday through Saturday, right here on the Deuce with your host, Bill Pito.
They're still doing some maintenance work. Tim Allen's out there just doing some work around the house, cleaning up the hole.
Tool time on ice.
It's like a bad hole on the green. You know, you've got to have it nice and cut well for that to fit in there, so for the ball to not rim out a little bit. So they're trying to make a better hole right there for the.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Now, what is Ed Belfour doing? Is he saying anything to these guys?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Fedorov, meanwhile, is probably thinking about that easy tap-in he had for the third goal of this game. 21 minutes, almost 22 minutes, 22 shifts, and 4 shots on goal. Nothing really of the variety of the outstanding individual plays. Clearly, Fedorov. Don't forget, though, the Detroit Red Wings played last night against Toronto, and then they played Monday as well. Well, we'll catch our breath and come back in a minute.
Blå, blå vindar och vatten. Blå, blå himlar och hav. Blå, blå känslor i natten. För det är färd med stillheten som gör.
Efter Ira Levins roman En kyss före döden. Ellen söker sanningen om sin systers död.
I think Dorothy went there to get married, and not to kill herself. If we can identify her boyfriend, I think you'll find I'm right.
Men hon kommer sanningen allt för nära.
I know what you did to Dory. I know all about it.
En kyss före döden. Tisdag klockan 9.
The repairs are complete to the Chicago net, and play is back on. 2:47 to go, regulation. Detroit leading at 3-2. Brett Bree for Chicago to Jeff Shantz. Chance in the corner. Brent Sutter bodied off there by Big Primo. Cicerelli up to Sean Burr. Burr at center, and Steve Smith is back for Chicago. Here's Grieve at center for the Blackhawks. He'll just dump in, and Chicago will chase, but Steve Yzerman is there first. Primo tries to backhand it out. Brett Grieve keeps it in the zone, but now the Red Wings have a 3-on-2 possibly. They get a 2-on-2 with Yzerman. Tries to get around Smith. Behind the net. In front, Yzerman, and the save by Belfour. Yzerman had point-blank range, and Belfour made the save.
Good play by Yzerman in the neutral zone to get this thing started. He had himself a little bit of room to maneuver, and he wanted it right off his teammate. He made the play originally. He was the first man back in his own defensive zone. Then he boots the puck, and then pretty good soccer player in his own right as a youth. Now this fake slap shot's the key because it sets Steve Smith going backwards a little bit. Then Yzerman with the wraparound, and he's got plenty of time as he comes around, and he just can't get this one up. He was saying this morning that he was having a hard time of all things raising the puck. He's lengthened the stick, the length of his stick. He's fiddled around with a million different things, but a great individual effort.
Down the rush the other way is Chris Chelios. He'll go to the corner for Ruutu. Chelios pinches in, trying to hit Murphy in the slot. Ruutu. Murphy in front. Vernon jumps on it before Murphy can get a shot away. It's loose behind the net. I thought Vernon had it tied up, but no. Ruutu with a great pass right in front of Vernon.
Boy, Ruutu's very good at that. You know, they're missing a player on that line. That's Paul Yzerman that's recently been traded.
Gary Suter. Chelios with room. Fakes the shot. In front. Oh, the one-timer. Trying to hit Ruutu or the Nichols, and it goes wide. Hawks starting to take some chances now. 1:18 to go. We'll watch Belfour in goal. Suter in front off the stick. Joe Murphy, who wanted a penalty, won't get it. Konstantinov now without a helmet. And the Red Wings just send it in to keep Belfour in the net.
Boy, Ramsey did a nice job. Illegally most of the time, but a good job right in front of Vernon.
Here comes Tony Amani, and Ed Belfour heads for the Chicago bench. 3-2 Detroit. Coffey and Primo, and a big hit there by Amani on Primo. But they can't keep the puck in the zone. The net is empty in the Chicago end, and Roenick goes back for it.
Blackhawks have pulled their goaltender. Belfour on the bench. Roenick on the ice.
And the Red Wings will try and pick it off, and if it doesn't hurt them in various ways, we'll take a shot at that empty net. Here's Burr at center. Sometimes you can take a shot and end up icing the puck and costing your team late. Riva Krasov under 20 seconds to go now. Red Wings won't let the Hawks penetrate their zone. And the shot is a goal from center ice. Dino Cicerelli says thank you very much. And that'll do it. The Blackhawks will drop their first game of the season here at the United Center. And the Red Wings fans in attendance, and there are lots, are exulting in the stands.
As you said, Tom, they have not lost in this building entering this game. 4-0-1 coming in. They started the season with a loss at Joe Louis Arena, a 4-1 loss to the Red Wings. Now the Blackhawks have dropped their first game on home ice off a spin around empty netter by Dino Cicerelli. Only needs 13 more games for 1,000 in his illustrious NHL career.
To think he signed as a free agent. Nobody drafted him. Signed for the Minnesota North Stars in '79. Primo the lone assist, and that'll do it for this game. The Detroit Red Wings now have a 4-point lead in the NHL Central Division, and for that matter, the Western Conference. They come in and beat the Blackhawks 4-2.
Gritty performance by the Detroit Red Wings defensively. They did a great job in this 4-2 win.
Shots on goal in the third period.
Conference, Pittsburgh mot Quebec med Jo Sekic i spetsen.
Ja, Sekic som ligger 2 i skytteligan totalt efter
Jaromir Jagr.
Ja.
Det är Quebec i blått som börjar vassas Jagr framför kassen, och han kan inte hindra Jo Sekic just från att göra mål, och 1-0 för gästerna mot Pittsburgh.
Studsande puck också som Jagr har problem med.
Kvitteringen kommer i den första perioden när så småningom Chris Joseph klipper till och kan kvittera förspelet från Jäger, och Stefan Fissé har ingen chans.
En härlig rykare från blå.
Dags för 2-1 för hemmalaget. Långskottet och målet från Chris Joseph igen, som gör sitt andra mål i matchen.
Ser man vad betydelsefullt det är att skjuta på direkt.
Så dags för Peter Forsberg att presentera sig. Häng med här. Peter gör mål och 2-2 i den tredje perioden. Kul för Peter. Bara ett par sekunder senare så är det dags för ytterligare mål för Quebec. Till slut så är det Mike Ricky som kan stöta in 3-2. Martin Straka heter en duktig tjeck. Han gör 3-3 för spelet Thomas Sandström. Så det är dags för Sandström, och det här är starkt.
Ja, mycket starkt. Det gäller att inte ge upp. Han ligger på isen och han ser sin chans ändå.
4-3 till Pittsburgh som är på väg mot seger, men kvitteringen kommer för Quebec. Det är snyggt. Där finns Over Nolan, Kamenski står för förspelet och 4-4. Men det ska bli ett avgörande i den här matchen. Och det är Pittsburgh som vinner matchen. Jaromir Jagr heter målskytten.
Ser man hur stark han är, håller alltid undan sina motståndare, och här med en backhand för är ett icke otagbart mål i och för sig.
5-4 för Pittsburgh mot Quebec. Jagr alltså segerskytt. Här är John Van Beesbrook. Det handlar om Florida Panthers mot New York Rangers. Gamla klubbkompisarna där för Van Beesbrook som finns i Florida numera. Börjar bra för gästerna från New York. Rangers gör mål genom Mark Messier. Så blir det 1-1 och 2-1 till Rangers. Och så småningom 2-2. Jason Woolley håller sig framme och petar in pucken bakom Mike Richter. Stanley Cup-mästarna Rangers kommer dock tillbaka, får ledningsmålet. Målskytten Adam Graves.
Adam Graves som får stå helt omarkerad mitten i slottet och skjuter snabbt. Otagbart för Van Beesbrook.
Men Panthers ger inte upp. Kommer tillbaka i matchen och får sin kvittering. Målskytten Scott Mellanby. På nytt så är det Rangers som tar ledningsmålet i matchen. Alexander Karpovchev för spelet från Stefan Matteau. Och till slut så vinner Rangers med 5-3 mot Florida Panthers nere i Miami. 2 mål och assist utav Mark Messier, kungen av New York. På Long Island där finns Tampa Bays coach Terry Crisp. Och han väntar på den 3:e seger mot New York Islanders den här säsongen i den här matchen mot Islanders och Tampa Bay. Det börjar bra för Tampa. Rob Sommer efter slarv av Dennis Waske.
Ja, verkligen. Och det är ett härligt läge. Han kommer in just innanför blå, slagskott rakt upp.
Mera Tampa Bay ska det bli. Klima. Tjecken finns vid bortre stolpen och petar in 2-0. Reducering för Islanders. Troy Looney får en klubba på den där pucken och styr in reduceringen. Men så finns det en kille i Tampa Bay som heter Dennis Savard, en härlig spelare, Micke.
Ja, en gammal Chicago-legend som har spelat många år i ligan. Han har haft det lite tungt de senaste åren, men visar här prov på att han fortfarande kan spela. Slagskott.
3-1, ett matchavgörande mål. Och det ska bli mer utav Dennis Savard i matchen när då Islanders satsar på tom kasse, så petar han in 4-1 som blir också slutresultatet. Dennis Savard, matchens lirare med 2 mål i slutet. 3-1 och 4-1 alltså. Mats Näslund har förstärkt Boston Bruins här i mötet mot New Jersey Devils. Och Mats är redo för inhopp. Han har fått spelat ganska mycket så här i början utav sin återkomst till NHL. Men det är New Jersey som har börjat bäst. Alexander Semak lägger pucken i nät bakom Blaine Larcher, en relativt ny målvakt i Boston. Och mer New Jersey Devils, Tom Chorsk, och det där borde väl kanske målvakten Larcher ha tagit.
Ja, det tycker jag verkligen. Han har spelat annars mycket bra för Boston.
Kvitteringen kommer för Boston Bruins. Jay Reed, sedan målvakten Brodor har slarvat.
Ja, han hanterade pucken alldeles för länge och det kunde Reed utnyttja.
Kvitteringen då för Boston, för det kommer att bli en sådan nämligen. Brian Smolinski heter målskytten.
Han gör det mycket bra här. Han går in och lägger pucken mellan klubba och benskydd och sen stöter in den.
Så är det dags för Näslunds första assist. Näslund som hittar tillbaka till Don Sweeney som skjuter, och där finns Smolinski och kan lägga in segerpucken. 3-2 för Boston mot New Jersey Devils. Så Mats Näslunds första passningspoäng så här långt.
Ser vi Tjekowski i närbild också.
Klassisk arena forum i Montreal, Philadelphia Flyers. Gilbert Dion ser ni i bild i Philadelphia Flyers. Det första mötet mellan klubbarna sedan den stora traden mellan dessa båda klubbar. Det börjar bra. John Leclerc som ju blev tradad från Montreal till Philadelphia gör mål. Renberg stod för förarbetet. Patrick Roy hängde inte med. Här kommer Renberg på kanten och klipper till, och där finns ju Leclerc nummer 10 och petar in 2-0.
Det måste kännas väldigt härligt för den här Leclerc att komma till sin gamla hemmarink och göra 2 mål.
Det ska bli ännu mer utav Philadelphia Flyers som var vassa den här kvällen. Sean Podane slår in 3-0 och detta bara 25 sekunder in i den tredje perioden, och sen kommer raset minsann. Men först ska Leclerc visa att han kan göra hattrick dessutom. 3 mål han gjort, 4-0 står det, och det är dags för att kasta lite hattar in på isen som han gör när det har blivit 3 mål av samma spelare. 5-0 blir det också, och så är det dags för Eric Desjardins, också för detta Montreal-spelare.
Ja, åter på sin hemmarink och får göra mål. En härlig känsla.
6-0 och 7-0 blir det till slut, och Ron Hextall i Philadelphia håller nollan i den här matchen, och Flyers verkar klart på gång. Western Conference, och här har vi Vancouver med målvakten Kirk McLean som var fantastisk i slutspelet.
Ja, de kallar också för Captain Kirk.
Rangers dock vann Stanley Cup-guldet. Vancouver Canucks får en bra start, tar ledningen med 1-0. Cliff Ronning. Spel 5-4 bakom Kelly Rudy. 1-1 blir det också, och 1-2 dessutom, eller 2-1 för hemmalaget Vancouver innan kvitteringen kommer. Dan Quinn slår till, och förspelet Sam O'Donnell och Kings har kvitterat. Men sen kommer det att handla om bara Vancouver Canucks. 3-2, Jeff Courtnall.
Har ett enormt bra handledsskott, ett långt klubbblad som han för snabbt skjuter, otagbart för Rudy.
Och ännu mer Vancouver. 4-2, målskytten här, Martin Gelinas framför kassen, och Rudy får se ytterligare en puck bakom sig. Vild glädje förstås i hemmarinken. På nytt Vancouver och Galinas för spelet Buré, och då får också målvakten Rudy nog. In istället med Grant Fuhr som ersätter vid läget 5-2. Men inte ens Fuhr kan hindra Vancouver från att göra mål. 6-2 blir det, också 7-2. Pavel Buré gör 7-2 målet, och till slut så blir det faktiskt 8-2. En storseger för Vancouver Canucks. 2 målet av Martin Gelinas och Jeff Courtnall, och titta på Brown. 5 stycken assist, det är bra.
Mycket bra back som kom från St. Louis förra året.
St. Louis Blues med Brandon Shanahan i spetsen är extremt svårslagna i sin nya arena. Kiel Center möter San Jose Sharks med Dahlén och Garpenlöv i spetsen. Börjar illa för Jose. San Jose som ligger under med 1-0. Målet Ian Lapierre, en nykomling i ligan. Det ska bli mer. Dags för 2-0. Greg Gilbert, och förspelet från unge lovande rookien Patrice Tardif.
Ja, det är den här kedjan Tardif, Laprairie och Gilbert som är så oerhört duktiga.
Och ännu mer ska det bli. Lapierre gör sitt andra mål och 3-0. Så är läget efter 2 perioder och San Jose Sharks ser ut att vara ett slaget lag. Men laget kommer tillbaka i period nummer 3 och får också så småningom en reducering. Pat Falloon klipper till och Curtis Joseph får släppa in den första pucken för denna afton. Det ska bli mer. Tom Peterson har gått bra i San Jose Sharks. Han gör 3-2. Förspelet Igor Larionov. Bara 3 minuter kvar på matchen och San Jose vädrar poäng. 40 sekunder senare, Sandy Sosolich. Snyggt det här. 3-3.
Ja, han är ju en offensiv back och det är precis där han ska stöta upp i anfallszon.
Och hajarna från San Jose är på väg att ta poäng, men det ska bli ytterligare ett mål. Bara 1:30 kvar på matchen och Greg Gilbert får en möjlighet. Och till slut så blir det faktiskt 4-3 för St. Louis. En tung poängförlust för San Jose som kom tillbaka från 3-0.
Ja, det får man säga. Och Irbe har ju faktiskt inte övertygat på senaste tiden.
Patrice Tardif, rookien, står för 4 assist. Spelar fram till alla målen alltså. Edmonton Oilers gästades av Mike Modanos Dallas Star i Northland Coliseum i Edmonton. Och Edmontons Kelly Bushberger mot gamle klubbkompisen Andy Moog, men inget mål. Så ska Dallas också få en möjlighet att spräcka nollan. Paul Cavallini skjuter. Men Bill Ranford är en duktig målvakt även det.
Ja, en av ligans bästa målvakter. Jag har haft problem i slutet här när Edmonton har förlorat många matcher.
Ska i alla fall bli mål i matchen. I den tredje perioden så är det dags för första målet. 1-0. Paul Broughton för Dallas Stars. Och ett resultat som stod sig väldigt länge. Bara minuten från slutet kommer kvitteringen för Edmonton. Det är Todd Marchant. När man satsar på 6 stycken utespelare som kan löna sig ibland 1:09 före slutet. Inte nog med det. I slutminuten ska också Edmonton få ett segermål till 2-1. Dave Stapleton i spel 5-4. Så en mycket tung förlust för Dallas.
Mycket tung förlust och har spelat väldigt dålig ishockey på senaste tiden. Däremot har Edmonton nu de senaste 6 matcherna spelat väldigt bra.
Vinner här med 2-1 i hemmarinken mot Dallas Stars. I Chicago finns det 2 amerikaner. De heter Jeremy Roenick och Tony Amonte. De ska ta sig an Detroit Red Wings. Det är Chicago som får första möjligheten att göra mål. Och till slut så kan väl pucken i alla fall glida in. Joe Murphy som jobbar bra bakom kassen.
Ja, har också kommit igång. Han spelade tidigare i Detroit, men här i Chicago.
Så är det dags för Niklas Lidström. 2 gånger får han chansen och den andra gången så går det vägen. Här, pang!
Pucken glider rakt ut i slottet och det är inte mycket att göra här för Ed Belfour.
Belfour som också det är en mycket skicklig målvakt i sina bästa stunder. Mer Detroit och mer Paul Coffey, det här gillar du mycket.
Ja, här kan man se, det är hans specialvinkel. Man kan se att backen hinner inte ens med Chicago-backen här på sidan. Har ett enormt glid.
Kvitteringen för Chicago. Målskytten här Jeff Chance som gör det elegant och retfullt.
Ja, det är nästan man får säga att den glider in i mål.
2-2. Tredje perioden så. Mike Sillinger skott. Belfour klarar första, men där finns ju Fedorov, ryssen, Sergej Fedorov som var så strålande bra i fjol och gör 3-2. Och i tom kasse så kan Dino Ciccarelli peta in segerpucken 4-2 och Chicago Red Wings får en förlust i hemmarinken. 4-2 vinner Detroit med och Chicagos första förlust i United Center. Maple Leaf Garden. Här gästade Winnipeg Jets med lagkaptenen Keith Tkachuk i spetsen. Och detta Winnipeg fick en dålig start minsann med Thomas Sten i laget. 1-0 för Toronto. Mike Ridley, Mats Sundin står för förspelet här.
Ja, det gör han. Och till Mike Ridley som kommer från Washington.
2-0. Dave Allett i backposition. Dmitri Mironov förspelet. Och Sundin är första man att gratulera.
Man kan se att Mats är inne här på samtliga mål.
3-0 då. Backen nummer 4, Dave Allett. Och Sundin finns där för att ta en retur. Nu behöver man inte bekymra sig om pucken i nät. Ändå Mike Gartner stod för förspelet där. 3-0. Winnipeg då, ja, de ska få sig en reducering i spel 5-4. Darren Shannon som är siste man på pucken, förspelet bland annat utav finländaren Selene. Lagkaptenen själv heter Keith Ketchuk och han gör 3-2 och nytt hopp för gästerna från Winnipeg. Då är det dags för Sundin att på allvar presentera sig. Nummer 13 har han på tröjan. Fint växelspel.
Ja, ett enormt fint växelspel här mellan, jag tror att det är Doug Gilmore som står på passningen.
Till slut så vinner Toronto med 5-2 och Sundin gör mål. Vi är strax tillbaka med mer hockey från NHL. Den gångna veckan från NHL-hockeyn. Vi börjar med nummer 10.
Brian Smolinski från Boston gräver ut pucken ur sarghörnan. Ensam i Brodeur, lägger mellan klubban och benskydd och slår in den.
Los Angeles Kings nummer 77 Rob Covey från ganska nära håll. Snyggt.
Nummer 8 kör vi Sean Podane från Philadelphia. Grabbar åt sig pucken i mittzon, glider över och med en backhand rakt upp i nedtaket på Rouen.
Nummer 7 Tom Chorsk i New Jersey Devils. Lite tur. Pucken ramlar ner och gör ett mål, en kullerbytta in i nätet. Tom Chorsk.
Som nummer 6 har vi Martin Lapointe från Detroit. Glider in. Och rakt på returen har vi Martin.
Nummer 5 är vår svensk Thomas Sandström. Som klipper in ett av sina många mål den här säsongen i ligan.
Som nummer 4 har vi Martin Gelinas från Vancouver. Tar ner med handen. Backen tittar för mycket på kroppen och stöter in den när han ramlar.
Som nummer 3, Chicago i spel i hemmarinken. Här finns Jeff Chance som lurar hela Detroit-försvaret, inklusive målvakten, och lägger in pucken i nät.
Nu kommer ligans bästa spelare just nu, Jaromir Jagr. Runt nätet, håller ifrån sig Quebec-spelaren och rakt under mellan benen på Fissé.
Så det allra snyggaste målet den här veckan. I Hartford finns Paul Runheim. Lite turligt. Det lönar sig inte alltid att åka skridsko mycket.
Nej, man kan också ligga ner och göra mål.
Det blir en perfekt skott från Runheim. Då så, dags för de 10 snyggaste räddningarna. Vi har många duktiga målvakter i NHL.
Ja, vi börjar med nummer 10, Blaine Latcher från Boston. Helt ensam med målvakten och gör slida ner och tar det skottet.
Som nummer 9 så ser vi Sean Burke i Hartford. Från nära håll, starkt gjort.
Nummer 8, Martin Brodeur, New Jersey, mot Washington. Slagskott, bra skridskoparad.
Som nummer 7, Grant Fuhr i Los Angeles Kings. Han kan en.
Nummer 6 har vi Bill Ranford, Edmonton. Och hur tar han den? Vid stolproten, hur hann han med?
Nummer 5, Mike Vernon i Detroit. Här hänger han fint med och kan avvärja kassen från påhälsning.
Nummer 4, Ron Tugnutt, Montreal. Bra, helt fri, skjuter. Sådär, jag har den i plocken, säger Roa.
Nummer 3, Darren Pupa. Han gör 3 räddningar i Tampa Bay.
Nu ska vi se varför Ken Breggett just nu är hetast. Där, han har den. Han slänger ut klubban och stoppar den pucken. Det ska ju vara ett givet mål.
Calgary har en duktig målvakt och han är blixtsnabb. Han heter Trevor Kidd och här klarar han en nästan omöjlig puck. Och det är den snyggaste räddningen den här veckan i NHL. Och Quinn i Los Angeles Kings har någonting att fundera över. Skickligt utav Trevor Kidd som får utmärkelsen nummer 1 den här veckan. Vi ska se mer utav Kidd snart om en liten stund i huvudmatchen. Vi är tillbaka förstås nästa vecka också med fler vackra mål och räddningar. Mats Näslund signad utav Boston Bruins. Det slog ner som en bomb, Mikael.
Ja, det gjorde det faktiskt. Harry Sindel, då, presidenten för Boston Bruins, ringde bland annat mig och frågade om det vore idé att köpa över Mats. Och han är väl en av de få spelare som jag tror skulle kunna komma tillbaka. Det är väl han och Håkan Loob som jag anser vore ett bra köp för ett sånt lag.
För Näslund själv?
There's a few guys in the league that are older than me that are still doing pretty good. I saw one last night on TV, Joey Mullen. He's still doing pretty good in Pittsburgh and so on. There's a few older guys, so I think it's still hope for me too.
Kenta Nilsson också tillbaka i NHL, en ännu större överraskning för mig i alla fall.
Ja, för mig också. Han har inte spelat i ligan sedan 1987. Här får vi se hans mål också. Han har väl kanske inte fått spela så mycket som han hade förväntat sig i Edmonton.
Ja, skönt för Kenta att få göra det där målet. Jag tror att det lossnar nu i fortsättningen. Och sen